Hello, everyone. We are back with another Slot One Super Podcast episode. This is episode 69, and we have a very lovely cast. Same as always, with, of course, me, the Masningen, and Vilify,
Yo.
which, if you guys want to say hi,
How's it going, everyone?
And then
Hello.
we also have our very special guest, Toonrami, joining us today. Hello, Toon.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well. Yeah, and
Oh
we
my God,
have-
this picture.
I don't even know what. Look,
I haven't used that picture in years.
chat, I'm gonna be real.
a good
I
one.
swear on everything. I was sitting here for like 5 minutes trying to connect my face cam, and it wasn't working. It might be dead. Who knows? But we see. I don't know what image exactly is on there. I bet it's the Yajirobe image with the glasses.
Yep.
Stupid. But
Yep.
we're here. We're gonna be talking about a bunch of things worldwide, or I almost said worldwide celebration. Global Dokkan campaign is ongoing. But before we continue, if you do want to help support the podcast and you have any questions, comments, or shout outs, anything you want to let us know, every donation and super chat will be read at the end of the show, whether again it's a question or whatever you want to say. But with that being said, we're gonna really
Every
just...
donation will be given to teaching Minato how to make a thumbnail.
Look, chat. Look, I'm just gonna say my thumbnails are peak, man. Look, they get clicks, but okay. We're gonna start things off first with the new characters and the banners, everything in relation to that. So, of course, we had the LR Blue Goku and Vegeta and the LR Rosé Goku Black and Zamasu come out. Very cool characters. I think people have warmed up to more overall, but if we actually talk about the kits, how are you guys' summons too? Did you get any good luck on these banners?
You don't want to ask me how my summons were because you're not gonna like the answer. Do we really want to? Should we really go over this?
Yes, that's why
Okay.
I asked you.
Okay. Well, I got incredibly lucky again, and on multiple occasions, I went back to back with each of them.
Damn.
So yeah, I rainbowed both in relatively quick fashion. So I am very sorry.
That's fine. You say how many stones did it take you in total?
I actually over rainbowed both, so I got 6 copies in 5,500 stones.
6.
Pretty good.
Yep.
That's really, really good, actually.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Was it just a case of
Bro,
like
what do
you ended up getting the extra ones in like the same 3+1 or something?
Yeah.
Right,
So it was
yeah.
not planned. Yeah. So I knew going into that final multi that I was gonna get what I needed. Then I could just buy the final one through the Baba shop. But I ended up getting more for both, and then I ended up just buying that extra copy that was the first TUR. That's 50% TUR. So yeah, I was incredibly lucky, and I'm so sorry.
Damn.
Honestly, that's really good.
Every time I mention that, I'm always like angering people. So I'm sorry.
Well, you're not gonna anger us. When someone here got shafted, like I'm perfectly I'm good to go. I mean, I was only going for 55%. When I summoned, I went in with 400, 450 stones. I got Rose. I was summoning for Rosé Goku Black first. I did get him on the second rotation I did in the banner.
Nice.
Then on my second multi in the Blue Goku banner, I got Blue Goku and Vegeta. So I was like, hey, free to play power. You know what I mean? So I did get both the units very, very quickly, and I finished my summons at most 30 minutes. And then I went on to do a bunch of other things that came out. But I also got pretty lucky, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I thought you
my-
would hop in.
I guess I'm stepping up to the plate. So as you guys, I'm sure most of you know, we operate on a 2-account basis, one for Zero to Hero and one for the main account. It took me like 1,500 to get one copy of both on Zero to Hero, so not great. But we were also kind of going into that with a rule where it's like if I pull the new character, so I don't rainbow everything on the banner, I have to stop. So it actually ended up working pretty well. Like we ended up getting Gogeta. Like I think I ended up finishing the banner before I pulled a copy of Blue Goku, and then on the main in 700 stones, we ended up getting both. So top grossing gave me a dupe of Vegito, or Goku and Vegeta. I'm just used to calling him Vegito on the main account. So
Yeah.
all cool stuff. Really, nothing to complain about. I kind of hate when that happens, when I don't really save for a celebration and I get lucky, because then it kind of validates where it's like, oh, you guys don't have to save for these celebrations, even though that's what I'm preaching 24/7 on the channel.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I was done with my stones. I spent 100 because I wanted the orbs for Tech UI Goku. and whatever. And it was like,
No,
it was because I was missing some stuff on the banner, and I was like, yeah, you know what, forget about it, I'll just do it. And so it's like, again, it validates the behavior, and it's just kind of funny. That's why I always say, like, do as I say, not as I do. When I'm giving advice.
Just get lucky, and you're good.
Then you don't have to save.
Just
Yeah,
have, yeah,
exactly.
just have YouTuber rates. It's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got one copy of each. I went into the celebration with about 1,300 stones, I think. I got very lucky with Rosé. I wanted Rosé most. It's one of those scenarios where I would be happy to go all in, and if I only got him and not the Goku and
He's all in.
it'd be fine. Exactly. But I got really lucky, in fact, and got Rosé on the first rotation.
Oh, nice.
Got him from the free multi.
Woo.
With that new Zamasu, like the new Whis animation where it's like Fusion Zamasu and then they fuse into Vegeta Blue. So that was good. And then obviously then switched over to the Goku banner, and it took me like all of the rest of the stones that I had. And it fortunately pulled him on like the very final rotation. I think it was on like the second multi or something. So obviously I did the other one and then did the free one. But it was the last rotation I could do before I was out of stones that I managed to pull Goku. So it worked out well in the end. It felt rough in between that point there, like after pulling Rosé and then going like 1,000 stones without really getting anything. I kept getting like physical Vegeta Blue and AGL Rosé as like featured units with featured animations. I think I pulled a copy of Beast, which I could use. But like I didn't even pull any copies of the AGL Vegeta, which is annoying because mine's only 55%. So yeah, I pulled most of the featured units that I didn't need copies of up until the point where I pulled Goku. And then funnily enough, got the Fusion Zamasu like animation thing again. So it was the one that I actually got Goku on, which was cool because I remember during the 9th anniversary, I never saw the unique like Broly animations or anything, so it was pretty cool to get that one twice. So yeah, pretty lucky because, like I say, it took me all the stones that I had, but I managed to get a copy of both of them. So at least we have them to use and make some teams with. So I'm pretty happy with that overall, I would say.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have good news for you.
Yeah.
You know how you're talking about how you didn't pull AGL Vegeta?
Yeah.
And he's not usable in the new event anyway, so you're good.
Oh well, I mean, my first win.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say my first win on the new event was with double AGL Vegeta leads. So.
Oh. I don't like it.
Your point proves my point wrong, so I hate it.
Exactly. Nah, his I don't know. I rainbowed him and didn't really feel like that confident about him in that event, so I was just like, damn, like, because I was excited at first, and then it was like, whatever, I guess.
I actually also didn't get copies of him, but I did just buy 2 copies of him with coins. I'm like,
I saw that on your Twitter.
Using AGL Vegeta on that new event made me wonder, at some point, we need to have a super attack effect where you don't just give stats for the rotation, but you give damage reduction for the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of like did a little bit of that with it wasn't on the super attack effect, but LR Broly trio do have that kind of. It's just their passive.
Well, yeah, that's a passive thing. I'm saying super attack, like have a super attack do that.
Yeah, they could.
It was a little shocking to see how even with a 60% defense boost, seeing Vegeta with his guard in slot 2 or 3 get worked, especially after 6 months being the dominant, one of the 2 dominant characters in the game.
I had an instance where Taunt turned Vegito took like 2.8 million from a super. I don't know what I did wrong. I think it's because Rosé just like got built up from counters on the turn before. And it was just like, we're like, because my buddy and I was kind of like streaming while I was playing. I was like, we think we're good here. Had like 3 million defense, guard, damage reduction, all that fun stuff. And he just got torched by the super. We're like, oh, well, what did we do wrong? So it is kind of just insane seeing. I saw a tweet. It's like they found a way to power creep 90% damage reduction, but here we are.
I mean, to be fair, depending on the turn, like, because I think, we'll talk about this event later on, but like a lot of people kind of went in just attacking Rosé without knowing his build up. I think on their first run, so I think that's very fair. Because Zamasu seemed like annoying with the healing, so it's like, okay, well, let's just take care of Rosé first, and but yeah, no, Summon seemed like it went pretty well, I think, for all of us for the most part, so that is good. We at least have the new characters, right, which is the most important thing. Talking about the new characters, though, let's really go ahead and hop right into the new Blue Goku and Vegeta and talk about them specifically. So, I'm actually a big fan of their kit. I know a lot of people, when they initially got revealed, were like, they don't actually fuse, right? But they're still very powerful. And I think, again, the public perception of this character has shifted towards being more
Hmm.
positive. But, Ningen, what do you think about this new Alara tag unit?
Yeah, I think they are very good. I mean, the thing is, I've always been on board with the like. I wasn't hugely disappointed that they don't fuse. It's one of those things that, for me, it's kind of always a case of as long as the card is good, then I don't really mind too much. And so, fortunately, the card is good, and seemingly there's some things I think about this card that will get better as the celebration goes on as well. Because I think one of the big things when I saw their details, and it's changed a little bit since seeing them in game, but when we saw their details and we saw like just how good Goku was, I came away from like reading their details and stuff, or seeing, well, they obviously showed them on like the stream and that, but seeing the details and like came away from that being like, why would you ever exchange into Vegeta? Because Goku is just so good. It's like this dominant defensive unit. He's like a slot 1 tank that's going to age incredibly well. 80% dodge, 70% damage reduction. Even when he gets to the point where he starts to age out of like being able to tank slot 1 supers, he would still be useful on the team because like once he gets his post super defense, he'll still be able to tank relatively well. So he seems like really, really good. This just like solid wall. And then I wasn't really sure like what the point of using Vegeta was. Now that I've used the card a little bit, Vegeta can be quite good. Like he can hit quite hard. He does usually do obviously higher attack stats and does more attacks than Goku. But there's just a lot of situations, I think, with the units that are on their team and the way their team is set up at the moment. You've got like the 10-year fusions, you've got the 7 years, like outside of like the 7 years on turn 1, it kind of feels like you just want that Goku to be your slot 1 on both rotations. And so Vegeta kind of never really gets a chance. But one thing I am super looking forward to is obviously we're anticipating, because they were featured on the banner, that the Int Vegeta and Trunks will get an easy A. And of course they'll be a solid slot 1 unit, and then they can take advantage of that Vegeta having the buff to units whose name includes Trunks. So then you could actually have a rotation where you have like the Vegeta and Trunks in slot 1 and then actually get some use out of the Vegeta in slot 2. And the other big thing I would say for him compared to the Rosé and Zamasu is because their team came so like preloaded with all these great units, like like we said, the 10th anniversary fusions, the year 7s, Gotenks, stuff like that. I find that like Vegeta's active skill as well is not as useful as like Rosé, because obviously Rosé's active skill, both of the units have an active skill where they can either give themselves a buff or give the whole team a buff, but Vegeta's is for Future Saga, whereas like as the main sort of build of their team that you see people running, it's kind of like the Goku and Vegeta, and then maybe like physical Vegeta Blue are the only actual Future Saga characters on their team, and his active skill isn't buffing the other anniversary units, whereas obviously Goku Black's like team is super bosses, so they all get the buff. So yeah, overall, I just think the unit is really, really good. I do think Vegeta is decent, and there are some situations where he could be useful, but for the most part, I just don't really find myself exchanging into Vegeta and just using Goku as the super good tank. But yeah, overall, very good unit. So pretty happy with how they turned out. Like I said, I don't care too much about the fusion. The Vegeta Blue active skill animation is awesome as well. So, even though they don't fuse, the animation is super good. So yeah, pretty happy with the unit overall, I would say.
Yeah, no, I also really like the character, and Goku with the 60% defensive support on his 18 key, really, really viable, especially in that new event. It helps a lot of these characters potentially tank the AoE better, because the AoE could still be in slot 1, but after your slot 1 character attacks, right? So I found that in a lot of situations, or even if like a slot 3
Yeah.
character gets supered, that 60% defense is used with Goku. Vegeta to me feels more like, again, like you said, not really too much of a point to switch into him. I will say he's great at finishing the event, though. I know how to run with this character's team. Rosé was like over half HP, I used the blue Vegeta's active skill and then put him in slot 1 because if you put use his active in slot 3, it'll activate his slot 3 passive, kind of similar to the blue fusions from the 5th anniversary.
Yep.
Then you put him in slot 1. He's sitting in slot 1 with guard plus 40% reduction plus the dodge, but then he's like just killing the enemy, right? Because he does with like what 3 super attacks, and there's like, I mean, I've had turns where with the Agio Gogeta active, my 55% Vegeta did like 112 mil into 78 mil into 80
Damn.
plus mil, all guarantee crits because of the I believe as a third attacker he gets guaranteed crits too. Like he does
Yeah.
insane damage to finish off a boss. So like even on like festival, I could see you running this character if you do like that event too, and you just stack up a lot, and you can see Vegeta do probably some insane numbers in like one turn the final phases by himself, which could be really funny. But even in just red zones and that's this new event, like one thing I've noticed about these characters, the Vegeta and Zamasu specifically, is like they're characters I feel like kind of like okay, so a lot of you guys aren't older players, in terms of like playing Dokkan. Like during the 2nd anniversary, I remember a time where it's like, oh wow, the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, they're consistently hitting over 1 million to 2 million attack stats. Like it felt really cool seeing that because before we would just be
Yeah.
like, oh, 700k, 500k, like that. These guys, both the Vegeta, and then we'll talk about Zamasu later. I feel like they're units where I'm like consistently seeing like 100 mil attack stats plus from them. Even Tech Broly kind of had that feeling, but these guys are, I think, obviously way better. So, but yeah, I agree. I just don't really see a reason to switch into Vegeta outside of finishing the fight off, which, he can definitely, I think he's way better than people give him credit for, but I just like how the blue Goku is designed more. But Toon, you have any opinion on these guys?
What I've been loving about this celebration so far is not only the fact that these guys can hit really, really hard, but it's also like the position. The issue of positioning is really, I feel like, a focus of these units builds, because this creates such an easy setup for your not only these GDC characters, but also like the 10th anniversary characters and other characters that otherwise may struggle on any given rotation. Because with these guys giving you the setup and the ability to defend in slot 1, it just opens the door for a lot of units to do more things. What I find myself doing a lot right now is I have Goku slot 1, and then I get to go crazy with the 10th anniversary LRs in slot 2, or maybe Vegito in slot 2. If we get maybe this Trunks and Vegeta EZA that people are hoping for, that would create even more flexibility in terms of positioning, because now you would get to take advantage of the Vegeta version of the Goku Vegeta, because now you can move him into slot 3 and have somebody else in the slot 1. There are a lot of favorable rotations and lineups that I'm now finding myself using because of these characters. I don't know if this is what they were intending. Maybe this was a happy accident, but I just love the team building flexibility that I have now because of these characters. I think that's what makes this like extra level of satisfaction for me when playing the game right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think the amount of team builds that you can make with this character is very
Yeah.
fun. I feel like their leader skill, honestly, it could have been maybe a little more expensive. Like a Future Saga leader is not like the craziest, but
The Rosé lead was dumb. I think that was maybe the one like big L
Mhm.
of this whole thing. The Rosé lead is just stupid.
the Rosé leads dumb. For sure. Bill, any thoughts on the Blue Goku Vegeta before we can pop into Rosé? It feels like Hannah.
I mean, I say y'all definitely seem to have covered everything, but I'm a fan of the unit, right? Especially because like I feel like the gauge is definitely, or the bar is kind of switched over to like, all right, how are you in the Goku Black and Zamasu fight? And yeah, they pass with flying colors, and I think that's the same for both characters, really. So I don't have any issues, like too many issues with them. Like Toon mentioned the leader skill here a minute ago with Rosé, but I didn't think we need another Fuse Fighters lead. That wasn't really something that was on my bingo card, but it works.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at least the leader skill is good.
I think they should have led Bond and Parent and Child. I'm like,
I think
Dokkan,
they're scared of that.
the only
Well,
Dokkan Fest leader.
Fuse Fighters is a good lead because we don't have like a bona fide slot 1. Like you have
Fair.
a momentary slot 1 with a couple of Fused Fighters, like the 7th anniversary LRs, but then after that, you don't have somebody leading the charge, right? These guys do that. Now Fused Fighters has more depth because all of the characters that need to I'm sorry for interrupting. all the characters that need to thrive in the first couple of turns with stacking can do so safely with these units now occupying the slot 1. So now Fused Fighters is far more complete than it ever was before. I think after this we can maybe move on, but I think that this was like the final piece that was needed.
I mean, it is still a good team. I feel like
Yeah.
Bond and Pit and Child, again, we know that the only leader for that's a Dokkan Fest is Vegeta Trunks, who's literally about to EZA probably next week. So I think it is funny in that way where it's like we have not gotten another leader for that team.
Yeah.
Very strangely. But besides that, yeah, I would say I don't really mind it as much. I'm not like, oh man, this sucks. It's garbage. Definitely it's still a very good team, and I agree. Like I wouldn't really I would still use this character as a Fused Fighter lead now over the year 10 anniversary characters, especially in short content, just because of what they do for the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess now we get probably to segue into the other Fused Fighter character, Goku Black and Zamasu. So again, I'm a huge villain lover. I think these guys are awesome, but I know Ningen also really loves just Rosé Goku Black in general. One of his boys is probably back in a little bit in the limelight, Physical Rosé, but I'll let you handle it, Ningen. What do you got to say about this guy?
I was gonna say I'll let Vil go because we kind of took all the talking points for Goku Black and
Fair,
Goku.
fair.
But I will just say they're probably my favorite unit in the game now. So
I think that's fair. I'm pulling them up right now just to make sure I don't sound silly, but I do
This guy
like this
didn't
character a
memorize
lot.
The kids. I can't believe it.
Right. But like, I guess one thing just before we talk individually about the unit is I like the team that you can run with them. They have a bad leader skill, but he has a fun little team that you can run with him. It's basically, him and 5 of the same character, but maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that later. It's tough, right? I think that this guy holds it down real well, does a good job in the fights that you want him to do. I like how hard he can hit potentially. Have you guys found yourselves tagging into Zamasu like you've been avoiding with Vegeta?
A couple of times I have.
I think it depends. I probably would switch into Zamasu more than Vegeta because the healing, and then Zamasu is just doing way more damage if you're under 60%.
Right.
But for me, it's like me with being in Rosé and Zamasu, it's like 8 out of 10 times I'm in Rosé, and then 9 out of 10 times I'm in Blue Goku. It's like not a drastic difference, but I would say I probably have used Zamasu a little more than Vegeta.
I will say
it's just so ironic because the villains actually need the help. So like you find yourself having to swap to Zamasu to sort of bring your team back on track. Anyway, continue.
Well, I was just gonna say I find the exact same issue, right? Because with that team, especially with super bosses, even though some of these units we've gotten, like the clones and the EZA and stuff like that, they're all really good. Like none of them are really slot 1 units. So I often find in most of the situations, like you just kind of have to stick as Rosé because he's the slot 1 for like both rotations.
Chill on AGL clone, man.
Well, yeah, I mean you can. Yeah, AGL clone is pretty good. Let's be fair.
If you kind of just ignore like the whole clone team, it's like when you just look at the super bosses category in specific, I think too many of the better units on that team are super class right now. Where you see the EZA Kale and Caulifla, or the exchange one.
One thing I would say as well, when it comes to Zamasu, like I do get the point, Ningen, where it's like you really want that slot 1, but I would switch into Zamasu when I have the active skill available, or if I really have to heal. But the thing about Zamasu's active is that it activates all of his attack passive at the start of turn. So then you use Zamasu's active, and then it's like, oh, he's at like 4 mil defense, or probably way higher, honestly, just giving a number with the guard, and then his 10% reduction when attacking would also have activated. So then you could actually put Zamasu in slot 1, depending on the situation and the turn rate, which could be really good. But that's why, again, I also kind of stay in Rosé more because super bosses slot 1s are very important. Plus, that's why I hope
I think it is the interesting combo because like I think if you're on low health, that is a really good opportunity to use Zamasu because like you can use the active skill with him and basically just get like a full heal. But like going back to what I was saying with like the Vegeta active skill versus the Rosé one is because Rosé's one buffs the whole team. Like you just get some absolutely insane like performances out of all the units on the team. If you've got like, you get to turn 4 and you just use Rosé's active skill, and then on turn 5 you use the other Rosé's active skill, and then like everybody else on the team is just hitting like just insanely hard. It's so good. Like, it's such a fun team at the moment for sure.
Right. I think the guard proc can be a bit frustrating. Not like in terms of just like the fact that it's restricted at all is kind of annoying. Where it's like you have to have. I mean, it's not really a problem with this character, thankfully, because Extreme Class and Future Saga, there's a lot of crossover, and especially considering we probably have a future EZA coming up, no pun intended, with Int Merge Zamasu, more than likely, I would say. Like, that'll be a helpful addition to the team. You already have the AGL Goku Black Super EZA. You've got the clones, right? People are trying to gas physical Rosé back up. I'm not really buying it, but I think that this team definitely still has some potential options that could make this team even better. But overall, I think that just the character is definitely holding it down and doing what he needs to do. Looking at this first line of passive, not the first line, but it's like, again, attacks effective against all types for allies whose name includes Goku Black is huge. Especially when you have like the clones and stuff like that, because it helps them be more offensive when they're not all those clones are built offensively. Obviously, there's some that are definitely more defensive focused, and being able to get that type of support, I think, is just crazy. Like, have we had a character like that in specific where it's just like, yeah, this makes everybody effective against all types just passively?
Not passively. The only other time
Right.
we've seen it is the AGO Gogeta active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I was
STR
thinking.
Bulma's active does as well or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, like, it's just crazy how much support you think about, like, because you could build the team if you include the clones, because you could build the team like in a way where basically every single unit on the team's name includes Goku Black. It's like both the Rosés have the passive buff, then they have the active skill buff. Then you've got characters like AGL Rosé and like the Zamasu Goku giving support and stuff like that. Like, when you get to the turn where like all of that support is active, potentially like physical Rosé domain as well. Like, it's just the numbers that everybody on the team ends up hitting is just crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
And even like physical Rosé is like, I know Villan mentioned it, he's like, I would say he's not crazy, but he's like usable for sure. He's more than usable. So that's really cool too. But dude, have you used this guy much? I assume you probably have quite a bit, right?
The Rosé?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've used them. I've used them. I've been having
For
a lot
real?
of fun using this Rosé. I think my one criticism, obviously I already talked about the leader skill. I don't like the leader skill. Everything else about him, I love. The thing is, there just needs to be. I want Extreme Future Saga just to get more. We just need more flexibility. Like when we were talking about fused fighters, there's a very established order. It's Goku slot 1, and then just a bunch of other fused fighters slot 2. For the extreme class, though, Rosé being slot 1, since he's an attack booster, I don't feel like there's as much potential longevity with some of the rotations. Like, you're going to do a lot of numbers, you're going to do a high amount of damage, but I feel like the tanky side of the Extreme Future Saga needs a little bit more. So I'm kind of hoping that we can get a couple of EZAs that can sort of further that. I don't need anyone else to like switch into the slot 1 position, but I just want, because now I don't know if this is a valid criticism, but I have been using the free-to-play clone team all the time. Like, that is the only team that I use for Extreme Future Saga. I feel bad that I'm never using any like other Zamasu character. So I would like there to be some sort of, I don't know, maybe a couple EZA, maybe a super EZA, something that can allow me to just bring a few other different characters, not just the free-to-play team. I know that's a really weird thing to say. I've been like doing all content with just that, which is a great start. Like, I'm not trying to say that this is a bad thing. I'm just, I'm being greedy.
I mean, we also got to consider that, after this celebration, the all our Rosé's limited time buffs will be gone.
Yeah,
so
that's the other thing.
taken.
That also makes the rotation so much more complete, because after all the clones, you've got that enforcer just blazing through anybody, right? I was with the Rosé, the STR and Int Rosé combo, I am easily clearing 90, almost 100 million damage on that special battle Zamasu. You know how he heals back about 25 million?
Yeah.
That means nothing to me.
Yeah.
That used to mean something. That means nothing to me now.
That's crazy how much healing he could do on the active too. It's crazy, but
yeah.
I mean, it is really nice that they give us this Rosé team. Again, I kind of hope that what I really want is another slot 1 for this team, which sounds kind of silly.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Because then you could use the Zamasu.
Exactly. I'm thinking like Int Fusion Zamasu, make him a slot 1. I think would be really good, because then you could actually use Zamasu on the other rotation, and they would actually link up better because Zamasu has godly power. Um, which
Do
is
you think it would have
actually
been too busted if they gave each version the other stat booster? Like Rosé boosts 60% attack. If Zamasu boosted 60% defense, and likewise if Vegeta boosted 60% attack, do you think that would be too much?
I think that it's not
Mm.
necessary because Zamasu and Vegeta aren't gonna be slot one characters. That's the one thing I didn't like about Zamasu's kit is that he gives extreme class allies 10% reduction when attacking, but at least that could be used on the active skill. Like I feel like it could activate start a turn with the actives, right?
Yeah.
So I think that on the super attack, Zamasu and Vegeta don't really need to give support buffs like that. Especially like Vegeta giving extra attack to like your slot 3 character wouldn't matter. Zamasu giving the defense would be nice, but again, I think that again, if you needed the extra support buffs, you would just switch back into Goku Black if you need the 80% defense, right? That's my personal thought process on it. And I don't think it's necessary because Zamasu is like providing the damage reduction either way, right?
Hmm. I think it would be an interesting addition. Like I don't know if it would make them. I don't know if it would be too much because yeah, again, like I guess if you're using them in slot 2, you're still giving a buff to the unit in slot 3, which is cool. So it's a nice little extra thing. I don't know if that would make it too much, but then I don't know because I guess the argument would be how much is too much because we can get into that a little bit when we're finished talking about these guys, I guess. But like you could probably argue that these two are the two new best units in the game. So, yeah, if they gave them extra, would that be too much? I mean, maybe, I don't know, if they're already the best, essentially. So.
Again, it'd be nice, but I don't think it would like change too much. And if anything, adding like giving Zamasu the 60% defense support, they would probably take away the damage reduction. Like if they would like because of how like they design these characters, they would probably be like, okay, they wouldn't give them both the damage reduction and the defense support. In the perfect world, I mean, obviously, if they just wanted to add that, that'd be awesome. But I would assume that by adding that 60% defense support to Zamasu, I would prefer the 10% damage reduction personally, especially because it can be activated like starter turn, right?
Yeah.
They maybe they would even like decrease his healing because like Zamasu could just like full heal you anyway, so it might not be as big of a deal to need the extra defensive support on top of like the healing and reduction. So that's why I'm not kind of like I don't really care. I don't think it's like a necessary thing.
I would
But
agree.
You
yeah,
know
no.
what's so annoying to think about?
Mhm.
Rosé is not going to lead whatever the part two LRs are.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
we're gonna talk about that too
Allegedly.
later.
God.
But keep in mind that Rosé is an extreme class character. I think that it's going to be the opposite that Rosé will fit on one of the Part 2 LR's teams. That's kind of what I think they might do because since his restrictions are extreme class, he could work on any villain team if it's a full villain team, right? But you could even use this guy on the actually I've seen people run this guy on the Blue Goku Fuse Fighters team because
Mhm.
you have two Blue Gokus going around.
Yep.
Physical VB, like he has his passive up with the Future Saga ally. Even AJ or Rose could be used. He's a universal support. But
That's my favorite team to run right now, besides the clones. Having double Goku and then Rosé and Int Rosé. It sucks that they don't get the full leader skill, but then I just use the support memory, the Worldwide Chaos one, now that it just got boosted. That's what I used to sort of like make up for the Rosé, the Int Rosé not getting the full 220. And yeah, that team cooks.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually tried that out today, running like a full Future Saga team, and then using like Rosé and the AGL Rosé, like the physical Vegeta Blue as well, like just running like a full Future Saga team, but using all the new units. And yeah, it was pretty fun.
yeah, for sure. And I think the one thing about these two fights or these two new characters is that it is very, very fun. So the last character to talk about is the banner unit Champa. I mean,
Oh,
I think it's cool-ish in the fact that, like, oh yeah, they're still giving Universe 6 extra options. It's just that we don't have a Realm of Gods leader right now, so I'm like, you're using Techie Y Goku as your Realm of Gods leader. I'm sorry, bro.
He is
What's wrong with that?
Baffling choice an absolutely baffling choice for a banner unit because like he does support the Goku Vegeta because ideally we want like the banner units to work well with the unit that they've come out with, but like he supports both the new units, but he's not on either of their teams. It's such
I don't
a
know why he's not
weird
on
choice.
Super Bosses. Like, no, I didn't even notice none of the Champas are in Super Bosses.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
should be on that team. And the thing is that, like, his support would still activate for Magad's team on Super Bosses. That's the Goku Black Zamasu setup. Like, imagine putting him on the team and he's giving 66% support and Rainbow Orb changing.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
when I
that'd
read
be
his
really
kit, I was
good.
like, oh, okay, so even though he's on the Dokkan Fest banner, like, he's a unit for Rosé's team, and then you see that he's not on Super Bosses. It's like, oh, like, so yeah, his design is just very confusing for him to be the banner unit for part 1 of this celebration, considering he's just not on either of their teams.
Honestly,
I wonder if
I
this
guess-
is a I wonder if this is a move for potentially moving forward to just add random other characters on banners that can sort of like retroactively make previous celebrations more valuable to increase the likelihood of people spending on each banner.
You see, the thing about this is I actually do
It's a good
kind of
tinfoil
like this
hat.
though, because the Rosé team doesn't really like. It would be nice for the Super Boss to get more, but like the Blue Goku and Vegeta team, you're not like crying because Champa's not supporting him, right? But the Hit Universe 6 team is like a team where it's like, yeah, that team needs more options, especially. And I'm sure like the Rosé Goku Black team, like post the celebration, is still going to be really good anyways. And it's like, they love Super Bosses. They love Dragon Ball Super. They're gonna keep giving us Dragon Ball Super. We can get like a new Broly. We can get. I mean, they could do like a billion different Goku Blacks. We haven't seen a base Goku Black in like how long, man? Like, we could easily get like a Goku Black LR, still like a base form version. There's tons that they could do for Super Bosses still, but like Universe 6, like there's not really like they're not gonna drop like a. They probably wouldn't drop like a Dokkan Fest Champa. Like Champa doesn't really have a moment that's like. I mean, we got Vidal, but I don't know. It's like kind of the vibe with Champa to me personally. Like, but just dropping him like this right here for Universe 6, or maybe we'll have a Realm of Gods team in like, I don't know, like next month or something. Maybe we got like a new Dokkan Fest Beers, and then Champa's like really good on the team. Tons of different possibilities. So I do like this.
It could be
Just
interesting.
buffing other teams that actually need the help with the banner unit would be kind of ideal for me. But yeah,
No, he doesn't fight in the anime, bro.
But yeah, like I pulled
You like B superiors.
I pulled 2 copies of him while on the hunt to pull that copy of Goku, and like I awakened him and all of that good stuff. I don't think I've actually used him at all because I didn't get
Yeah, me
hit.
neither.
So like I don't have the Universe 6 team. So like, yeah, I got him, but I just haven't used him.
Yeah, I have not used them once, and I probably never will. I'm having too much fun with Future Saga.
I used him once.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. And that's really it. I didn't even upload the video that I recorded on him. I recorded a video on stream. I never uploaded it. I mean, I don't think people would watch anyways, to be honest. No one really cares about this guy. So
Yeah, nobody cares.
something that people do care about though. The top 30 for Million Arena.
Oh my god.
So
Oh,
we
boy.
have, I think especially many people in the English chat in the community, Million Arena Scandal, as I call it, was very silly. So if you guys aren't aware of what we're talking about, during the Million Arena like announcement, a lot of people did take a look at the names on there. A lot of them, have interesting names, and people looked into the account specifically and could tell all these all these people here are modders, right? I mean, number place 28 is Beat. Beat is a generic name made when you it's an auto-generated name you can get when you just start a Dokkan account. And then people look into those accounts, people were able to find them and see that they're modders. Blade 5, number spot 29, is literally the name of a Dokkan modding client. Right.
Yep.
Like they were even discreet with it. Everyone here are modders.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's wrong with
Can I
that?
just- Dude, okay, hold on. Can I say something? I hate this event. I've never been so publicly ambivalent about something in Dokkan before. Everyone is like, Toon, you're too soft. You defend $1 billion company, because I'm usually very mild about my disdain for things. But this one, I've never had this much bloodlust for anything in Dokkan. And that includes World
Bloodlust.
Tournament. And so I hate this stupid event. But then, in spite of that, I actually talked to a couple of French Dokkan tuber buddies of mine. They taught me some of the tricks of the trade. I wanted to sneakily do well on this, and I actually tried really hard to do well on this. And I'm pretty sure I'm like top 5. Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm pretty sure I'm top 5. I did a really good job on this run. I used like all my keys. We got the extra 100 keys. That made the difference. And then these idiots and their stupid modders come in and they just completely undercut all the hard work that I put into it. And these can I curse? I can. No, I'm not gonna curse.
Do it.
Can
I'm
I?
just kidding.
These buffoons.
Yeah.
They then say, they have the audacity to say, "Oh, we removed all the hackers and the modders from the game. You will not have to worry about that."
You all right?
No, very valid crash out. I mean, I like, especially because like, okay, you know what's funny? I saw someone say that it looks like they got rid of the modders on the JP version.
Don't say that.
Really?
Don't say that.
I'm pretty sure I saw someone say that it looks like on the JP version they took care of it. Let me double check that to
Okay.
be sure.
I'm gonna quit.
But if that's actually true,
Like you, it's clear they made this
Crazy.
in 5 minutes, and these idiots didn't bother like planning it out very well. And then on top of that, they have the gall to say this.
The
Like,
thing,
really do.
the thing that's the most disappointing is like when they first announced it, and we didn't really know what it was at all, and they just put out the thing of saying that like this is going to be a competitive mode where like everyone who wants to will get to play, and then the top 100,000 people get through to the next round, then 30,000, and then 30 people will be like the winners. When it was announced, I was like, oh, this actually could be something really cool. And then almost instantly though, like it was because I think I was live on stream like when they posted the announcement, and even straight away, I don't know if it's just like bad luck fortune telling or something. I was like, oh, the problem is if it's going to be competitive and it's going to be a leaderboard or some kind of thing, like I even said, I was like, imagine if it's some kind of like punching bag type thing.
You did not. You said that?
And yeah, and not only is it that, but it's that but worse. Like we've talked about it a bunch already. Like we all hate the event, I'm sure. A punching event, but the punching bag can punch you back and kill you, and then you don't actually register your score, which is super
Punching
fun.
back and
Yeah.
punching back.
But like
funny.
it seemed like it would be such a cool idea, but then I won't say I tried really hard. I had a good few, like we had some streams where I was just having some attempts and trying to figure out the best way to do it. And obviously it's kind of funny how it played out as well, considering people basically got all the way through to the final without really getting that high of a score, which either just shows you that not many people overall bothered to play it, or people that did like just weren't really trying all that hard. And then it got to the final round, and then it was like, oh, okay. So now in the final, like to get the optimal score, you literally have to have TN, or you have to use a rainbow TN and like friend and still find like the best setup. But obviously the people who got the highest scores are all people who rainbow TN.
It's just
Apparently you could do it with like a
Okay.
90% one as well. But like the reason why the controversy thing is so funny is because I tried explaining this. Like I made a video about it because I asked people to give me some of the details, and like a brother Russia, one of the big global whales that is part of that big whale Discord that used to be the one that helped people with chain battle stuff, posted a reply with a load of the information that they'd like sorted through. And it's one of those things that I was trying to explain to people, because some people are like, well, how do we know that they're modded? Like, is it not just people being salty that they didn't get into the top 30 and stuff like that? And it's like, the way Dokkan works is behind all of the animations and the cool, like, you know, flashy PNGs, like it is all just maths at the end of the day, right? You can put all the numbers into a spreadsheet, and as long as you know correctly what the equation is for working out stuff like damage, like there is a specific number that is the highest amount of damage that is possible to do in this event. And according to this guy, because again, I haven't seen the screenshots of their scores specifically, but some of the people in this whale Discord that obviously have all the units rainbowed and everything, after multiple attempts, because you have to get the perfect rotation, which is one of the things we hate about the event in the first place, a couple of the people in this whale Discord were able to hit that number that statistically is the highest number you can possibly get, which means in theory all of those people should then be joint first, because you can't get any higher than that. and then they weren't even in the top 30, which means that
Yeah.
literally every single person on that leaderboard got higher than you can actually legitimately even get like in the game, and they somehow didn't notice that.
See, the thing I did actually check, Brother Russia to respond to the original tweet that Global made about it. He said, "Show us the scores of the top 30 players so we can see their modded scores and see you guys did no checking of it on Global like you did on the Japanese version." And I looked through the Japanese version comments, and no one was mentioning cheaters. So
People, just imagine you go back and summon for TN because you care about the competition. In the spirit of competition, you want to put up a good score. You invest all that time, money, effort, energy, all to be undercut by a modder.
Yeah, exactly. Like for some people, they don't care about the event because they didn't care in the first place, and like some people don't, maybe won't understand why other people care about the event either. But it's like the World Tournament, right? There are those crazy people out there that are always the ones that are in the top 3 because they just want that, like, the badge of honor, I guess, of having the title that is you came first in the World Tournament. And yeah, there are some people out there, and whether it's something that anyone listening to this would want to do or would care about or anything, at the end of the day, yeah, there were people who legitimately tried and put in time, effort and money, like Toon said, to try and get that highest score possible, and some of those people managed to do that, and then none of them get any of the rewards because all of the top 30 are all modded accounts, which is absolutely insane. But like Minato said, you could see
the competitive spirit of the community. Like you just way to just like kill your fan base. I mean, it's not a lot of people, but it's still a pretty dedicated subsection of it,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is those are the kind of situations where those are the people you don't want to alienate, right? It's like the people that worked that hard to get those top scores and summoned loads and spent loads of money. Like, you definitely don't want those people to then be like, oh, well, I'm not going to bother doing that again in the future. Like, you need they ideally would want to keep those people on side, but yeah, because that's the thing I was expecting, because at first I didn't really think anything of it, because I just looked when they posted the top 30 and I was thinking, oh, it'll be cool to see who's there, like, are any of the other like YouTubers there or anything, and I had a quick scan and I was like, oh, I don't recognize any of these names. And that in and of itself is like the first thing that was kind of suspicious to people, because at the end of the day, like I said this in my video as well, if it was just that one thing, it wouldn't necessarily be like a big red flag. Like, there could just be people that are mega whales that play the game loads and just don't, they don't really interact on social media and stuff like that, so people don't know who they are. Like, maybe they don't play the World Tournament, so they're not names that are known in those kind of circles. But the fact there's like not a single person like from these big whale discords and the people that do go all out in the World Tournament and all that kind of stuff, like not a single person that was like a recognizable name made it into the list. Yeah, it was just kind of crazy.
Well, I do propose a theory for all 3 of you. Did you guys just think that maybe they had better gaming chairs?
yeah, I think about that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it sucks. I think you said it well, where it's like just, killing off a competitive spirit or people that, really actually did care about the mode. And now it's just kind of like, all right, why would I ever play this again when I know that my effort's just going to be undone by someone who logged into a farm bot? It's not good. And it's when you are as competitively like strict and for good reason and like with the integrity of the World Tournament, and then you want to and then obviously there are people that still mod the World Tournament, but I'm pretty sure like they get punished if I'm not mistaken. If you do mod the World Tournament, and then you just have this other mode here where it's just like allegedly on global you can just run free reigns and it doesn't matter, and it looks like we don't know what the deal is with that yet, but apparently you can get through without getting punished and you're even posted on the leaderboard. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, I think it's like really just bad. This event sucks. So
it's just a bad look, because even the post, like, so many people re-quoted it with like quoting, it's like, congratulations to like the top 30 participants, and it's like, yeah, you've basically just made a post that's like, congratulations to these 30 cheaters. Like,
you didn't mention the funniest part of this whole thing. Then they've tweeted out a survey about it.
Oh yeah, that survey is going to be okay. If you guys fill out the survey, do not be disrespectful.
Right. Actually, give real feedback.
Genuine criticism, because they're not actually going to look at anything that's like
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like the intern's gonna look at it and be like, bruh, I have to shift you.
He already had to deal with everything
Okay.
on social media after they didn't fuse. It's not his fault.
I mean,
Their fault.
lots going on, but yeah. So that's this event, Million Arena. You know, pretty got the community riled up, but something that also got the community to bounce back into a more positive attitude. These free to play Rosé Goku Black characters, and we're going to talk about them right now. So, of course, during the celebration, we got a huge addition that really helped out Super Bosses. Again, we all saw Super Bosses as the leader skill, and we're like, villain. I was like, villains are cooked. It's over. They showed the Goku Black team, and I remember I was in the stream with Aggress Truth and Iron, and I was like, bro, these characters have to be good or else it's cooked. And I didn't expect them to be good. And Gresh was like, yeah, there's no way they'd make them good. And then they're actually really insane, which is the best part. So, again, this team is so fun. A lot of them are unique in designs. Vil, what do you think about these Goku Black clones, man? And like, I think like the all art is really cool too, you know?
Yeah, I think that the alternate art thing is a bit of a pain because as content creators, as all of us, I'm sure we all got at least one comment saying we used the wrong version if we weren't using the alternate art. Like I got that comment so many times. I'm like, bro, they're literally the same. Like one was way easier to farm than the other. And just for the sake of getting like a video out on it. But I like how unique all of them they are, right? They all have their own different mechanics that they're bringing to the table while all having like perfect synergy together. You talk about the link sets, you talk about the way that they have in their passive, where it's like if you include one of every type, you have other characters named Goku Black clone on the team. It's just exactly what a free-to-play team needs to be if they're going to put it in all at once. And we've seen them do this more than once now with the Saiyan Saga team, with how cohesive that was. And the more fun teams that we have for people getting into the game, I think it's a lot more enticing to be like, here are these 5 really cool looking Goku Black units compared to, you know, no disrespect, but the Ginyu Force, right? Or Team Bardock. Like, I don't think people are that excited about Fasha and Tora, but, you know, 5 Goku Black clones with pretty cool looking art, I think is a good way to get players excited about the game. I think it's a fun way to make it easy to have teams. Like Toon was talking about how it's like the only thing he runs now is, you know, Rosé with the clones.
Yep.
And if you not that I suggest you have a reroll, but if you're a new player and you're starting today, all you need is the clones and Rosé Goku Black. That's it. And you can basically do
90%
anything
of the content. Yep.
Anything you need to do. And I think that really speaks to just from a simple sense rather than getting into each of the individual units and everything that they're doing. I think that just that team as a whole is super well designed. But if we want to highlight a few, I mean, until you name dropped them earlier, but the AGL clone, I'm a big fan of him. The Int one, his ability to provide a scouter, I like. I think the Tech one's little unique thing isn't the best, but it's pretty usable right now with just like the enemy wanting to be in a debuff status.
Tech clone is
That's really
crazy.
good. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
actually.
Tech clone against the new event like debuffs Rosé.
Yeah,
which
it's
is crazy.
it's good. But what happens when like if we go into like a stretch where a lot of final bosses are just unable to be debuffed?
Well, the
Like,
thing
that's
is
kind of
that
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of
That's all-
bosses,
Checks
I
and
mean, it
balances.
depends, but a lot of bosses nowadays
can have their
even
defense lowered.
defense
Yeah.
lords. So like the
Mhm.
Jiren fights can still be defensively debuffed.
That's fair.
So it's like, okay, well, he still gets his full passive anyways. The attack debuff is the best part, but yeah.
I
Yeah,
do
for
like
sure.
the-
And
Yeah.
he also has an action break.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
crazy.
Yeah,
I
they-
like
they're-
that they added as well the fact that it's like, because we've seen a lot of characters in the past that have a thing where they get an ability if the enemy is like attack lowered, defense lowered, stunned, or sealed, and then often you fight bosses that can't have any of those. But then it also has if they're below a certain amount of HP. So there are some instances where like he can still get that active even against bosses that are immune to all things, which I think is cool because it makes it so that that's not like completely wasted. Obviously some turns it's not going to be active if the boss has too much HP, but I do like that they added that like an extra way you could get it as well.
The Int one
That's really
bringing the scouter, I think, is really clutch, like we kind of mentioned earlier. Yeah, you guys kind of, I forgot about the action break, like even though I've seen it and used it in fights that I played on, but that's a really good thing as well. I definitely had a run. I think it was because you have to use a Super Boss's team against that Seriously Serious fight. Maybe the worst name for an event ever, but it's that Trunks, right? Like it's just I don't know how many times I action broke his super trying to get that Super Boss's mission team done. And so it was like, okay, like, you know, you combine, there's so many different like potential combinations you can do where you have the Int one on rotation with the Tech one. It's like, okay, I can action break the super, or I could see the super and put the AGL one potentially in front of it because he's bobbing and weaving everything, right? So I think that it's just really well designed for what they're trying to do for just a completely free to play team. Now, the farming process is a bit tedious in terms of like how do you get to that final phase? Getting those 20 orbs is kind of just like a knowledge thing where you got to kind of figure it out and you understand it. A little bit inconvenient, but at least if you're going to go through and do the grind, especially for the other clones as well, and you have like 2 teams, I think they did that for the sake of Battlefield, if I had to guess. Just really well done. I don't have too many complaints, especially for a free to play team. Like, it's kind of a blessing and a curse because this raises the standard. So like say maybe during part 2 we get like another free to play team that's very similar. You know, people threw out the idea of you know, clones of a certain fusion because of that attack he does against Omega. Maybe that could be a thing. I saw that idea floated out.
I demand we get this twice a year.
Like a real team, like a real team like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I demand we get this free to play caliber team twice a year. Once during anniversary, once during GDC.
I think that's fine.
We got the Saiyan Saga team earlier this year, and then we got this team. Like Saiyan Saga team is not even bad at all.
No, it's really good still for what it is.
I think this really can help villains, especially. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of all these clones. Even the STR one has like some sauce to him, funny enough. Because he has at least a little bit of reduction, but. I've had the STR clone hit like 60 mil attack stats, double supers, and then bro's guarantee critting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's actually really funny that he's better than Tech Blue Calc and Goku. So it's hilarious. Actually, he is.
Universe 7.
So
I'm not even kidding, man. He's better.
I know. I'm groaning because I also thought that before you even said it.
I will say,
my.
Go on, Toon.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the only thing that I think is a bit of a drawback, well, not even a drawback, but it's just a little bit disappointing, is compared to the other free-to-play teams that we've gotten for, like, if you're a newer player and it kind of gives you a thing you can farm up straight away and have a team to start taking into content, is, like, unlike the Bardock Squad, the Ginyu Force, and then obviously, like, the Saiyan Saga revamp one they did with the tutorial missions, you don't get, like, I liked the fact that you got, like, a sixth character to be the leader of the team, like, when you farmed up all the other characters, because, like, if you're a new player and you don't pull the Rosé, like, who are you running as the leader of the team? And it's not like there's no options,
Goku, buddy.
But obviously with the lower leader skill, which, I mean, if you're a free-to-play, you kind of have to deal with that sometimes, as it is anyway. But I mean, if you're someone who hasn't been playing for, maybe you've been playing for a little while and not ages, things like some of the easy A's and super easy A's we've gotten will be obviously helpful. But I just like that with the other 3 teams that we got, you do get that sort of complete, like, it gives you the full team, where you get, like, the specific leader for them that has the slightly higher leader skill.
I mean, if anything, the Zamasu Goku dropping at the same time, his super easy, I feel like kind of works, and it's a better leader skill than any of the other leader skills are for those units that would drop in the same event, right?
Yeah, exactly. His is like 100%, right, for time travelers.
Yeah, he's 100% time travelers. Yeah.
Yeah,
which
so
also, I mean, obviously that does limit your stat output on some of the higher level events, but at least it's better than what we normally would get.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, the units are so good that, like, even with that setup, like, if you're a brand new player and that's the team that you build, like the STR, Zamasu Goku, and then all the clones, like, you're still going to be able to be a pretty decent, like, chunk of the content. Obviously, if you're a brand new player with a free-to-play team, you shouldn't be expecting to beat, like, all of the end game events, but this team's definitely going to take you through a significant amount. And then obviously, as we've already said, like, if you do have the STR Rosé and you're just running a team of these guys under his full 220 lead, especially with the points we made earlier, when you start getting, like, he's giving them all support because their name includes Goku Black, you start firing off the active skill for both of them, so it buffs the whole team. And then, yeah, like, these guys are quite easy. Like, I've seen multiple people make this take. Like, I don't think it's a hot take at all, but it's like, on the right team and in the right setup, these guys are better than, like, a lot of Dokkan Fest exclusive, like, TURs that have come out in the last, like, year, which is
honestly
insane.
it should be that way.
Yeah,
it should be that way.
Yeah,
the free to play scene in this game has gone from actually decent to pitiful over the years. This instantaneously rejuvenates that, and now free to play players can actually feel like they can make an impact in this game, you know, with their core team instead of having to just rely on their rainbow friend units. I think that this is such a good move, and I really hope that this is not like one of those spur of the moment things where they accidentally cooked too hard and they're just never going to do this again.
Yeah.
This was such a good thing for the game. I feel like this is 90% of why we are calling this such a good celebration so far.
I think that's valid. It's
very
important
nice.
to. It's a
Because, I
good
mean-
way for the ecosystem. Sorry, Minato. It's a good way for the ecosystem of the game when free-to-play players have, or not even free-to-play players, but just everybody in general has a good free option, because it's just like you get into this team that can beat almost everything, and it's like the morale is higher because you're like, oh, if only I had. You don't have to always be thinking about like what you don't have with your summons all the time, which I think is really helpful. Sorry, Minato.
Also, no, it's a thing of I was interrupting you technically. It's a thing of with that in mind, it's like, okay, well, imagine Super Bosses without this team. Pitiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
talked about that
actually
earlier.
true, Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
I think
Imagine
that's
what, you're running the
nice.
Broly trio?
Extreme Future Saga without this.
I think two good things that I want to see more often. Obviously, I think the free to play teams would be nice to get a couple of extra free to play characters per celebration. At least, like, even if it's obviously it doesn't have to be 5 characters, but they all use the same super attack animation. Obviously, it's not applicable to every single one, but like maybe at least 2 free to play characters per celebration that is actually usable and good that directly helps the new team would be very nice, just like these Rosé clones. But secondly, this is not actually even in the specific list of topics we're going to talk about, but I want to bring it up. Limited time boosts, right? For the Inter Rosé and Vegeta Blue. We talked about it a little. They should do that also for every celebration, even if they go away at the end of the celebration. How Dokkan does these celebrations and these like teams that they build up, they don't obviously drop everything in one day. We get the new unit next week. We get the EZA. The week after, we get part 2 Alara. The week after, we might get another EZA. Maybe a super EZA sprinkled in there. Maybe it's like a few extra EZAs, but it's spread over the course of a month. And it's like, oh, at the end of the month, the team looks nice, but it's like, unless it's a team that already has a lot of options, one, it might not age well, and 2, it might not be even entirely accessible to many players. But if it's a thing of, hey, we're giving limited time boosts at the start to help this team at the start, then once the team's fully built up, you're good to go. And here's actually 1 or 2 free-to-play characters that, if you get better options later on in the celebration, you could replace them. If not, it's still a good team. That would be ideal. And honestly, I think that would make people more interested in summoning on even just Dokkan Fest TUR banners. It would give value to those teams because it's like Tao is really cool. But at the end of the day, mission execution is not like it's the best setup, even with all the buffs that we got during the month. But if Tao dropped with like a limited time buff character on that team, and then let's say we got like, I don't know, 2 or 3 free to play options. Like we did get the Inchaozu, for example, who was pretty nice. But like, imagine we got like a free to play, I don't know, Cyborg Tao, and then a free to play Crane Hermit, and they're like really good as well. That could be kind of cool, right? For like that celebration specifically. But you guys get the point. Where more options, the better. And I hope that they do this kind of thing more often.
Yeah, I agree.
You said it really well. More options, better. That's it.
Yeah, every celebration getting at least 1 or 2 like actually good usable free-to-play units would be really good. And again, the same like you said, the temporary buffs as well. I feel like that's something that could also be really cool for even like the smaller celebrations, because it kind of encourages you. It would even in a certain sense encourage people to summon for the new unit when you know that like their team is actually going to be good. Because you think about releases like, I know he's not a great example because a lot of people don't like the unit in general, I guess, but like you think about like Scout of Vegeta, and how a lot of the complaints were like the Namek Saga team, even when he released, and like his banner unit and then like the EZA, like his team still wasn't that good. But like if he was releasing and then we were getting like 2 free-to-play Namek Saga units that were really good, and then a temporary buff for like an old Namek Saga unit that made them really, really good, then you could see coming into that celebration, if you are someone who was tempted to summon, because maybe you just like Vegeta, you like the Namek Saga, you're then able to see like, oh, okay, well if I pull him, like there's all these other buffs like with this celebration, so his team is actually going to be good. And so then people will probably be more likely to summon for those characters, as opposed to like, people like us who will, for content will summon for all the characters anyway. You get them, and then it's like, oh,
for yourself,
his
nerd.
team kind of sucks. Like,
yeah,
it's like I think like that's not only healthy for the game overall for each of those celebrations, but it would potentially encourage people, or at least just get people a little bit more excited about some of those other releases. So I do think this is something that is a huge like good step in the right direction. Hopefully it won't only be limited to like these two major celebrations, because that's something they could easily do for every celebration, is just pick out a unit that fits the team that is old and is too early for an easy A or a super easy A, and then just give them a temporary buff like only for the duration of that celebration so that they help that team. I think that's a really good idea.
They really could have done them for AGL Vegeta Blue and TTHE Zamasu. Like it wouldn't have been that really big of a deal. It's just like, oh, limited time buffs for these characters, and then clearly I think they've kind of leaned into it a little bit on social media with like the event teaser being the infamous image, and then the STR or during the title screen their animations are playing. So either they don't know and it's just a coincidence, or clearly they're leaning into We Saiyans Have No Limits. So it's like, imagine that character was good like right now.
Yeah,
I don't know, because we've talked about this where it's just like it's too soon for the EZA. They're not even 2 years old.
Yeah, I think that, okay, when it comes to limited time buffs, I don't think that they're gonna buff anyone that's not an easy LR.
That's fair.
Because if you look at it, like only easy LRs have gun buffs, and like even like during leading up to the 10th anniversary, they didn't buff STR Super Gogeta or the Year 2 Super Saiyan 4s. I think it's because they're TURs. It feels like they're only gonna do like, again, these easy LRs. That's why like people are saying maybe we could have gotten the buffs for like the 2023 characters. They aren't going to easy A here, more than likely. But the thing is that I don't think they would have buffed them for that reason. That's why we got the year 5 characters buffed. And another thing is that they can make these older EZA characters available for free in some fashion, just like how we got the Vegeta Blue and the Int Rosé. They are freely available with the Rainbow Dragon Stones, right? So there's that thought process to it that I kind of do get. So I still think that, again, these should be more appearing more often, and honestly they should buff UZAT wars if they want to. I don't really like that they're like kind of seemingly only doing it for LRs.
As a responsible Dokkaner, we're talking about these limited time buffs. I don't like that Geppy and Omatsu were encouraging players to go purchase them with the global stones.
Yeah, because once the celebration ends, then you can't use them anymore.
Because they said like, be sure to take advantage of these buffs and acquire these characters with the global stones. They said it during the stream.
That's why. I mean, it's funny because I made this tweet where it's like the image of it had them on the stone, and I was like, oh well, it was always Future Saga. Oh, right. But also that makes sense because they're featuring them. That the purpose is like kind of get them in the limited time buffs. But
it's
even then, it's like it's not even a bad option to get these guys, because like as these ALRs, they always will have the option to get limited time buffs again in the future. I mean, this is Vegeta Blue's second time getting a limited time buff, so
that's fair. You can only get one though. So it's like, you would only be 55% if you don't have them.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like again, this is more so meant for like newer players.
Yeah. It's funny because you were just kind of doing like a callback to your tweet. We actually had a moment on this podcast a couple of weeks ago where a super chatter said, what about a Future Saga celebration? And I said, you know what, just to make this super chatter happy, GDC. Little did we know.
No,
a couple hours later.
It's all Vilify's fault.
Like, wait, what? Yeah.
It's so funny though, like what a difference a day makes, right? When the next day they posted that teaser that had the Zamasu voice line.
Oh yeah,
it's like literally the night before, I think, was the last episode, and we were saying at that point they're like, yeah, probably 99% is Daima. And now here we are.
Oh my god, I'm officially canceled.
Ningen, I think you replied to a fellow content creator in the space because they put confirmed with an exclamation point in their thumbnail for Daima. An exclamation point, not the question mark.
I know, that risky play, and then I said, "Oh, you're taking a big risk." So you've always got to put that question mark, because then when it turns around, and it's not,
I don't remember who that was.
You're like, well,
I don't.
I was just asking.
I know who it is. I don't think I should say, but I know who he's talking about.
I love this content creator. They're the best, the nicest guy in the world. But they went for a confirmed. You can't do that if you don't know. So they always do the question mark. It's the perfect
Yep,
safety
Exactly,
net.
it's the perfect video
Always the
title
question mark.
mechanic. Like the question mark does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to speculating.
I'm just
Punctuation
trying to
is
see-
key, folks.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see, like, just 2 weeks ago, every other video for me had a Super Saiyan 4 on it. And now they've just vanished from existence.
Just
Yep.
like that. Just like Thanos snapped it right out of existence. Now.
Dude, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. If anything, like people, I just learned how many, like the vocal minority who Daima so much. I've had so much like dialogue with them during those videos, and all that is just over now.
You know, it's fine because eventually we'll get it one day. You know, right, guys?
It's the
Yeah.
Beast
Why-
Gohan effect.
Yeah,
where it's
when
like,
nobody cares, dude.
Yeah.
When Daima 2 comes out, we'll get Daima 1. Like, why? It's
Look-
so good for the game to just get fresh, new characters. Whether you like them or not, it just breathes a new breath of life into the game. And these dummies just don't want to do that. I don't understand.
they played it safe during this celebration, and even when they played it safe, they still took a risk. Like the risk being, it's not actually VB. It's
You're
not
not
actually
excited
Fusion
for
Zamasu.
November Dokkan Fest Kundu? Like I don't know, it's gonna be pretty big.
It's
right?
gonna be 2 Dokkan Fests on one banner, like the Gammas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see. I think we probably talked about enough about the Rosé team. We also talked about Zamasu
goated.
Goku. I mean, he's pretty
Yeah.
cool. But like I think he could be Zamasu Goku's like usable in certain situations. I don't know if
Final
there's
blow always scares me.
yeah, I'm not sure there's too much to really talk about him, but he's just a nice extra.
He's
fill
good and he's
out
free.
in case you need it.
Who?
Zamasu
Free
Goku.
Super Easy A.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's solid because, like, I mean, the serious event I know isn't as hard as like the Zamasu Goku event and stuff. But I think I did a run earlier and he ate a super at one point, and I was thinking, of course he's supering like the free to play unit on the team. And he still tanked it for double digit damage, so it's pretty.
He's pretty good.
For a free
Just
to
build
play
him,
unit, especially.
build him max
it's
dodge,
very
then the
good.
rest additional, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And yeah, the finishing blow
He's a gamer.
thing. I like the fact as well that they made it, because finishing blow has always been one of those weird mechanics where it can be very difficult to get it. Like, it can be very situational with the way rotations play out, and like, you know, the unit that's attacking before them decides to do an additional and get a crit, and so then they don't get to attack, and so they don't get their finishing blow. Like, the big thing is characters having a finishing blow thing is fine as long as the unit doesn't suck if they don't get it, and that's one of the things I think they kind of massively improved on with this guy, is that even if you don't get the finishing blow with him at any point during the run, like, he's still useful on the team and is still actually quite good, which is good.
Yeah, again, he's nice. He was a little better than I thought he would be too. So pretty big W. But we're talking about like new fights and stuff like that, right? For a bit, but it's time to
Yeah.
really get into it.
Get
Seriously
into it.
serious. We had like seriously serious is cool, but I really want to talk about the Goku Black Zamasu fight. So we're gonna
That's
hop
fair.
right into that. This fight is so fun. I've been trying out so many different characters. I've been trying out many different options, but I could talk about this all day. I'm gonna let the other guys talk about it before I just talk about everything there is too. So, Toon, what do you think about this new fight, man?
All I'll say is that when they started doing long form events during the 10th anniversary, people were getting very irritated and they wanted the short form content. And I said, as long as the game can give us a healthy amount of challenging content that caters to both, the game will be in a good place. They pushed for long form content in the 10th anniversary, and they're pushing interesting, challenging short form content in the GDC. And it's just giving me like a good mindset when it comes to just Dokkan's content variety. And so this was just a great new addition. I don't think it's tougher than Festival of Battles though. People like, I know that it's difficult. I just think that there's so much more that needs to be considered when you're trying to climb a 50 stage grind on that event, that in my opinion makes that more challenging. But this is still an incredibly fun event. I mean, that's pretty basic generic stuff, but that's just like mainly what I wanted to say.
I feel like this fight takes more thought to it, honestly, in terms of how you build your team and in terms of how you set your rotations, characters coming back, making sure that they don't get locked every turn by Zamasu, trying to avoid attacking Rosé or maybe getting certain units. Like, I feel like
I mean, it takes thought in Festival of Battles. It's just the same
it
thought.
does. I feel like it takes more thought in this new fight. That's why I kind of think it's like harder. But I think you could see Festival Battles as in a way of it still takes a lot of like planning ahead of time, and especially with just setting up orbs sometimes, and sometimes you can get screwed with orbs. But I also did see a clip earlier of Zamasu one-shotting Glorio in festival battles now, so that was pretty fun. Like at this point, I think we're getting units. They stack up so much damage. Like we have Kale and Khalifa now. They could basically one turn the Gogeta phase. Zamasu could one turn, like he was above 60% HP. He one turned Glorio, and the Daima phase was like the hardest phase ever. But then, like I feel like that's not really the case with this new fight, right? And especially because in that fight at the end, you still have the fusions, you still have that Zamasu built up active skill, you still have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta instantly. This fight, you don't have those powerful, mega, huge tools instantly built up. But that's my opinion. I think it can go either way.
I agree with that. I guess I should also say my favorite form of content in this game has always been legendary Goku events. So I do like the ones where like you're just like knee deep in the trenches, you're just buckled down with your stackers, and you're going for these like marathon runs. That's my favorite. But I still like it. I'm not disagreeing. This is a great event.
Oh no, for sure. This event's super fun because I feel like even though it like has toxic abilities, it's not unfair on your end too because they don't attack that much. So like action breaks could be super effective here. There is dodging is super prevalent now, I think, in this fight, which is really nice after the long fights kind of canceled dodging for the past few months. Attack lowering feels very relevant, which is a nice breath of fresh air. I feel like even compared to Battle Hardened Fellows, I feel like attack lowering just feels super cool here. It lets you use different characters, like I think Glorio's in a better limelight. PyCon, Buhan is actually really good in this fight too, funny enough. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, Minato, I'm laughing because I just like I misheard what you said, where you're like Zamasu one turns Glorio, and I interpreted that as Glorio gets destroyed in the new event. That's why I went, no.
No.
But then I figured it out. Like, wait a minute.
I did get
wait
that.
a minute.
Yeah, no. I'll put the clip in our little chat here, but it's so funny.
It's so hard to keep a train of thought, like when I had something, because Toon was mentioning something earlier. Oh, with the health of the events, right? So it's like, what happens? What would you rather have happen? Your Tech Vegito gets locked in slot 1 4 runs in a row over the course of 15 minutes, or G4 doesn't counter a Glorio super on turn 76. Right, like in terms of RNG and what can potentially lose you a run. So even if you like marathons, I think the fact that like losing in that event doesn't really feel like that devastating, heartbreaking blow where you're like, oh my God, I just did this for 2.5 hours. I could have done so much in that 2.5 hours. And compared to this, where it really is just like, all right, guy got locked, reset. Or you see like a rotation of like Super Saiyan 3 Goku and 2 Tech Vegetos, you're like, all right, reset. Because there's just no point going in. So
resetting though, due to recent events, I kind of hate that.
Yeah, me too. But it's not. It doesn't need to be as perfect. It's just like you can go in with a lot of different situations and be okay. It's just if you know right away that's a dead run because you don't have a capable slot 1 character, or you're going to have to rely on Super Saiyan 3 Goku to dodge. And if he even takes a normal, it's going to be 300, 400k. Just not a pretty sight. That's at least mine at 55% was taking like 500k on normals if he didn't dodge them at least. But yeah, I think it's good, like Toon said, that we have variety in content because I was saying this earlier. I don't remember. I think it was in the chat, or maybe we were talking about it before we went live. But like, could you imagine how boring this game would be right now if it was just the same thing as Festival of Battle since March, or we went potentially into the 11th anniversary and it was still just all 15 to 20 turn fights? I don't really think that would be that fun.
Yeah.
So when you have the variety, you have the flavors, if you will. It just makes for different units to have their shine, right? Like TN, for example, I think people have been talking about him in like a really good way, like him and Tao in this new event. Not really like a Festival of Battles rotation I'm trying to run, but hey, like, you can run a character like TN in an event like that and he's going to look really good. That's good. I've seen a lot of talk. I even tweeted this myself. I'm like, Beast Gohan is so back because like, you're not going to 9 turns in this new fight. So a character like Beast Gohan is really good. I've had him double digit super from Rosé in a couple different scenarios. So he's been able to hold it down, and being able to bring back characters of that caliber is so
Yamcha.
I was gonna say that's interesting because someone took a screenshot of my like shocked face, which I can recreate here. It was something along the lines of
Let me
because
click on
it
the
was
stream.
the first time I used the first time I jumped into the event, and I didn't know what to expect, so I just took a team that I thought would be pretty good, with Beast Gohan. Beast Gohan in slot 1, turn 1 against Rosé took a 780k from his super attack.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Beast Gohan
Oh.
instantly once he gets like that target skill up and he gets like his 80% reduction though, obviously he's really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
but
That
I was
first
not
appearance could be
expecting
rough.
that like turn 1 slot 1. But yeah, I like the new event as well. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I've tried out a few different like builds, and it took me a while to get it done for the first time. It's interesting. Like, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of rotation locking. It's an interesting setup because obviously, I guess the main strategy. I don't know if anyone has done a run yet where they killed Rosé first, because I imagine that is incredibly difficult to do.
I have.
But yeah, you have to Rosé. I think that's the part where I find the most tricky, I guess, even with some of the teams that I've tried out. I've managed to get as far as killing Zamasu, and then Rosé loses a bit of the buff that he has, but then the problem is certain units are still not just not going to be runnable in the event, depending on the rotations you end up getting. Because, like, once you've got rid of Zamasu, it's like, okay, now it's time to kill Rosé, but obviously to kill Rosé, you have to hit him repeatedly. So, like, in the turn, even on the turns where it's just Rosé left, I've gotten to the point where it's like the unit in slot 3 just takes so much damage, depending on the rotation that you end up getting, that it can be still very tough, which, I mean, I like. I'm not complaining about the difficulty of the event. I do quite like it. I do think it's good that we've gotten some shorter events. I think I was mentioning this, like, was it the day that the stream was going to happen, because we didn't know what the characters did yet, when they first put out that tweet where they've been doing those polls for like a couple of days, and like the first one was saying, I think they were saying about like an event that's going to come out in part 2, like, do you want it to be a short event against multiple enemies or a long event? And I saw loads of people commenting and like retweeting, and people being like, oh, why, like, everyone should only vote for long event, and it's like, we've got so many of those at the moment. I think it's good
not
to have
so many
mix.
like relevant ones though.
I mean,
I feel like it'd be nice to get another longer event that isn't specifically predicated on the dodge disable, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that it's always nice, because I feel like the two Jiren fights and the two Jiren fights feel a bit samey to me, honestly. So I think getting another like more difficult, longer fight would be nice. And also, people will just like longer events in general because more units, like a lot of units are like build up units, transforming units. They're able to really see their potential there. And I think that was before this fight came out, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really count Festival anyway, because I hate that event. But it's just because like the red zones that we have that are still the relevant fights. You've got like the blue Goku, the blue Vegeta as well, which feel like they take forever because they've got so much health. Like even battle hardened formidable foes, like each fight itself is not necessarily that long, but because there are multiple ones, like the event takes ages. I think it's just one of those things that I really noticed, like with the anniversary content, and I don't know if you guys like kind of notice or like feel the same, but it kind of comes to like all the fights that are considered the hardest fights or like the most relevant fights, when it comes to, especially for us, like making content, and like a new EZA comes out and like you want to do a showcase, so you're like, oh, I'm going to jump into like this particular event that's still one of the ones that's quite meta relevant. Like you find that like all of the events are taking like half an hour to beat. So it's like, I do miss the events that are a little bit shorter sometimes. I mean, this one obviously is not super short, but I do quite like the way this one works. It does allow you for some interesting strategies, like the fact that Rosé can be attack lowered, like we said, so like the passive attack lowering from the tech clone is really useful. And then yeah, it's like try and get rid of Zamasu as quickly as possible so you lose the rotation locking. But yeah, it's been very interesting and quite fun. I've tried out a few different teams, like I say. I've gotten like really, really close with the Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta team, because I thought that would be a fun run. But
Who?
yeah.
Hey.
But mine's only like 55% or 69%, I think. So once Rosé starts to get built up, even though he has type advantage, he could still take a lot of damage from his super attack. But it's quite fun to try out some other setups in it. So I quite like it overall for sure.
I mean, I do want to put this out with the. I know you talked about like, oh, has anyone done a Goku Black team? Or not Goku Black team, sorry. Run where you kill Goku Black first. That's actually I did do that, and I got a no item run with double AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku leaders, and the idea
Yeah,
is that attack debuffing, like I said.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh wait, did you not see the screenshot I put earlier?
No.
Let me put
Is that
it,
in the is that in the one
it's
chat or
in
the other one?
here? Let me grab it again.
It might be in the
I'll put that for you guys. The
in
video's
the
out
at
right
HQ,
now.
if you will.
The video's on the channel though. But look, here it is too.
No free
damn.
promo.
Yep. So you see, on my team, I had Glorio, Buhan, and Pycon. You attack lore like him to oblivion. So
Yeah.
even though he gets fully built up, you attack lore him, and then Vegeta Blue is out there killing. So like I would say, I see people thinking Vegeta Blue could be bad in this event, but actually on certain builds he could be very good. Especially because he also has a dodge. If you have a lot of attack lowering around, like
Yeah.
again, the thing is that you don't attack Zamasu until Glorio, Buhan, or Pycon, like at least two of them attack. Then you start attacking Goku Black and whittling him down. And then on this team, for example, everyone here has a way against the Ki Blast Supers. Super Saiyan 3 Goku has the Ki Blast counter. Gloria has dodge. Buhan could tank it in more situations than not. Vegeta Blue and Daima, Goku, Pycon, they all have dodge, right? Like they all have a way to answer Zamasu Super at the end. It can get a little scary at times, but like that's why I really like this event, because I feel like if you know what this event feels like to me, it feels like the Cell Max event when it originally came out. Because what I mean, one of my highest speed videos is double Namek Goku leader in the Cell Max event, right?
We've talked about that so many times, so we're just like, why that one of all videos, right?
That one, I mean, that was still my fourth highest speed video.
Also, I just noticed Toon has a Cyberman next to him.
Yeah, he would.
I like that. Look at the stream, dude.
No, I mean, we had that made for.
Oh yeah, we had that last time. I was the Cyberman last time.
Yep.
Not a loyal watcher. I'm caught. I get it.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you brought me on this particular episode number?
Oh. I told you to make the title nice, dude. Why didn't you? Come on.
Oh, you forgot.
Well, I just saw it because I retweeted it. I just retweet. I mean, at the beginning of the show, I retweeted it, right? And like two of the comments are, of course, you join on this episode number.
Yeah.
Toonrami actually planned this ahead a year ago, just so you guys know.
It was all part of his plan. He's like Eisen.
Yeah, Ning and chat saying you're muted, buddy.
Yeah.
How long is he
As
muted?
always, this
How
guy.
long was he muted? Come on.
Just for wherever it was I said then, which I can't remember. Oh yeah, explaining the Cyberman. Yeah, it's because obviously for those, I mean, I'm sure most people guessed in the chat, but yeah, it just plays off the idea that if you have a spare slot on your team and you go into an event, then the game gives you a Cyberman. So we've got our little icons, and then when we have a guest on, we've got a little Cyberman, because we can't be getting custom icons for every single potential guest. So you get to be the little Cyberman.
There you go, man. But yeah, no, this event's super fun. And dude, I've tried like hit God Goku on here. I've tried a bunch of different characters. I've actually done so many no item runs already, because this event is just so unbelievably fun to me. But again, we talked, I think, a good amount for this fight. I don't know, is there anything else y'all wanted to point out about it?
Infinite boosts, make that a thing as well, but make it longer because people have jobs.
Well,
that was so fun. Yeah,
Black and Zamasu, but I agree.
Well, I made the fatal mistake of going to bed. Like I did everything I needed to do, and then like I wanted to just like, okay, I'll just.
Dude, Legends did that infinite boost. Sorry, I'm straight up cutting you off. Go ahead.
You're good. Well, I mean, I was just like yapping about how it's like I did everything on the stream. I think I summoned for the new characters, did everything I needed to do, and then had my videos planned for the next day. And then I woke up and then I got to do like an infinite boost for like 10 minutes. So I learned the hard way. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I didn't deserve to sleep last night.
Dude, Legends had a similar thing like Dokkan, where they did a special like Tanabata celebration thing. They had like the highest rates on equip rerolls for 24 hours, but we had it for 14 hours, right?
Yeah, I think for
Why?
global players, it was a bit longer, like in the grand scheme of things, just like for at least US based players. Because for Japan, I don't remember what it was, but I know it was gone at reset in the morning at like 11 my time.
Yeah, it was the JP reset that it ended, but it's just like
Mhm.
it's good. That's a great thing. Just make it longer for just like how it takes multiple days for top grossing to tabulate in various countries. Give people 24 hours to get up, have a
Yeah.
life, sleep, all that stuff, and then actually
No.
get a couple hours in.
Too bad.
Yeah.
No
too
link
bad.
levels for you.
But yeah,
I actually only managed to link level maybe for an hour, but I got
Mhm.
so much done. So
Right?
much done. It was crazy.
Well, just wait for 3 days. We'll have special Dokkan Day again, so you'll be up again.
Yeah,
I
have
think I
missed
didn't
that.
get I didn't
Big
get a
time.
huge chance to use mine because of the way the timing worked. Like the banners
Mhm.
came out, I think it was at like 2 a.m. for me or something when the celebration properly kicked off. So I summoned for the characters. I got to use the infinite boosts a little bit to farm the medals, but I'd already pre-farmed some of them anyway. And then obviously for me, by the time I'd done my summons, got the characters awakened, done the 55% showcases, it was like nearly 5 o'clock in the morning. So I went to bed. And then I got up
don't
later
even
on
know
in the
who you are
afternoon,
anymore.
started farming up the Zamasu, the Rosé clones team. So I was using the boosts for that. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, by the time I'd finished farming them up, like, that's when the temporary boosts had run out. So it was a really good idea, but yeah, it would be nice if it was, went for a little bit longer, for sure.
Yeah. hmm
Came into that.
yeah. Again, very fun event, honestly, and the limited time boost too is also really cool, for sure. I think they should.
Sorry, man. So I'm just thinking. I think it should have just been longer. Like, it's like, what is It's not like the game's economy just crashes if players can link level or get like Dokkan Awakening medals. Like, it's. I mean, I was able to. I mean, so I know I did this without boost, and I really wish I could have been able to use all my boosts. I think Goresh did this, but
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
all of the Dokkan events, like imagine like the power level bonuses with the support missions. Oh, that's every LR pre-farmed right there. Like it's
Wait, what?
not
Power
literally.
level?
It's just
The missions? How much would that affect the power level?
the power level bonuses for like the extra drops.
Oh.
And I was killing two birds with one stone while I was doing that because I was using the clone team, A for all the typings, B for the 7 million mission, and then C to link level them. I don't think it did much, but it's I was trying to be productive with it. It ended up taking me like a day and a half. I was just reading Naruto the whole time and doing that. So, I got a productive thing out of it.
Yeah,
I see why.
did.
Yeah,
I did that for
me-
about 3 hours. I've only done like 25% of it.
Yeah, it gets a lot easier once you get out of like the hell of like 3 stages per Dokkan event. You reach like a point where you're like it's like I think it's around like Evo Ken, and it just starts becoming like 1 and 1 or 2, and then you start able to chunk it out.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, but Minato is an awesome character in Naruto. I just want to let that be known. An awesome Dokkan creator, and he's also really cool in the manga. I enjoyed it.
This is true. Minato's raw as hell.
Yeah, it was pretty badass.
Wait, that's actually a character?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I don't want to. You never seen his hair color, man? You could probably put 2 and 2 together.
I've never
Bro.
seen them. I've never
Someone
seen
clip
Naruto.
that. Someone clip that.
I've never seen
That's
Naruto.
okay.
I've never
It's
seen.
Bro, you think I just made it up?
It's okay.
I don't know, man. People come up with all sorts of stuff. Vilify. Vilify is a verb to make into a villain.
Exactly, but with a UH, so it's not a real word. I really thought that one through.
That's crazy.
I'm just Ichigo guy. It's easy.
Okay.
Oh, Ichigo, that's One Piece, right?
Yeah. He's actually a character.
Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you, Toon.
Anyways, let's move on to the new Super Easy A's. Woo!
Are those real characters?
Whoa.
I don't know. I think Vegeta Blue might not exist, but no. Physical Vegeta Blue and
Might
Agio
as well have
Rosé
not. It
got
lasted
their
2
Super
minutes.
Easy A's. Apparently not, according to Omatsu right now, but
Oh, good Super
um,
Easy A's. I'll say that.
very, very good Super Easy A's. I mean, there's some things I could say about them, but Ningen, what are you thinking about these boys? You're Agio Rosé. What thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them both. I mean, AGL Rosé, flashback to like when he first came out. He was probably my favorite unit in the game. I loved running that team. I mean, the physical Vegeta Blue, I loved running that team as well. I didn't pull him. It took me all the stones I had to get Rosé at the time, and then I got like 2 copies of him in literally the final multi, like last 50 stones. So I remember running that team back then. He's such a great unit, and he kind of ushered in that sort of archetype. Like AGL Turles obviously came out after him, like as we started getting into categories and stuff like that, where he has that sort of leader archetype that I really like, where the leader just ends up being like a floating support unit, because then it means you can build the rotations like any way you want, which I just really like. So I've always been a big fan of this unit. Obviously I know it's outdated in terms of what we have now, but like I thought his super attack animation was cool like when he first came out. So I'm very happy with him. He's definitely an interesting unit because he can look very different depending on like the different situations, right? Because like turn 1 especially, like he doesn't really hit very hard. But once he gets hit those few times and like builds up, and then you start factoring in all that stuff we mentioned with like all the buffs that the Rosé team can get from the various different active skills and domains and all that kind of stuff, he ends up being able to hit like pretty damn hard, considering his main role really is just to be a support unit. So I do quite like that. He does support all allies, which like we mentioned before, you can run sort of like that mixed Future Saga team, and he still is supporting everyone on the team, including the superclass characters, which is good as well. I think the only thing with him, which is, I wouldn't say necessarily inconsistent, but it's just the kind of luck of the situation, I suppose, is he has that thing where obviously every time he gets hit, he gets that little bit extra damage reduction. So if he ends up in a situation where he's getting attacked like 3 times, but then the first attack is the super attack, then obviously that's a situation where he could potentially take quite a bit of damage. But as long as he takes a hit or 2 before that, then he can end up tanking really, really well, even against some of the harder hitting attacks. So definitely a big fan of him. I don't know if we want to go into the Vegeta Blue thoughts as well, or just save that for the other round of commenting.
I mean, yeah, AJ Rosé, really, really fun character. I think in very small situations, you could like get instantly supered and he'll take a lot of damage, but I think his restrictions are super easy. Universal support, providing crit chance for multiple turns, which is pretty nice too. A lot about him is just very easy to use, very good, and he's a great addition to the villains team.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if you wanted to say anything to.
I was just agreeing with you as you continued.
Oh yeah, no, that was basically all I had to say. I mean, I feel like Negan made a lot of points, and I don't want to talk too much. I'm such a yapper.
I'm just glad we got a good, high-functioning AGL Extreme Future class, because one, I mean, I liked AGL transforming Zamasu, but he aged out kind of quickly, and having someone like Rosé to not only help the next turn, but also just give you some position flexibility, gives that Extreme Future Saga more depth. I'm right now, I mean, if you can tell, I'm all about making whatever category we're focusing on really good. And they're doing that with these like pieces that they're adding. I'm really liking what they've done. This Rosé, for me, I give him max dodge. He works in every slot that I put him in. I have not had any issues with him, even with those like slot 1, frame 1 supers. Because my dodge, dude, I got God YouTuber rates, man. When I dodge, I dodge.
Yeah, I stole the flow from creators like yourself, you and Truth. I did the full dodge on them as well.
Hell yeah, dude.
I was like, let me try this.
Dodge. I did full additional. Screw you guys.
I
love dodge. It's so weird. That just the opposite.
That's such a funny clip where you're talking about like full dodge on UI Goku, and then Truth starts showing his builds. You're like, no, I didn't actually mean it.
Yeah.
I never actually got around to changing the build for mine. I only just remembered to
it is 1
check
stone
what
right
it was.
now. I didn't even know until I went
Well,
to
I
go
pulled
change
quite
it.
a few copies from the banner, so I kept them in case I wanted to change his hidden potential. But I don't think I ever changed it from back when I first got him. So mine literally just has like additional and crit. Apparently it was that long ago. It was even before I was giving all my units like 3 dodge. So he has no dodge. So I need to change that up a little bit. Because I think because he builds up crit in his passive, like that's kind of like the main thing he doesn't really need, and mine has like 15 crit, so I need to change.
That's one of my favorite parts about doing Dokkan and just in general is just like you have a character that got a super easy A or an easy A from a character that was like 2019. You go look at the hidden potential build, and you can kind of tell. You're like, oh yeah, I built this 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this character is full crit. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
I went through a very weird phase. When I started playing Dokkan, I didn't care about defense. All I cared about was like critical and additionals. That's it.
Yeah.
The game kind of beats you into submission with that, though. Or it's like, all right, you just have to focus on it.
Yeah, it's like
It took me about 3-4 years to learn.
Yeah, like at first when the game feels easy, when you're not like before you get to the end game content, then it's like you can sort of have that luxury, I guess, of just being really focused on damage and enjoying all the big damage stuff. And then you start to get to events where you're like, why are all my characters just all dying like all the time? It's like,
Right.
okay, right, well, a bit more dodge here and there. I mean, that's the thing. I always subscribe to, even before I saw like any other YouTubers, like before I was making content or anything like that. I always liked giving the 3 dodge because I like that idea of like at least you have a small chance to do like any of the things. So even though it's not something you're going to rely on, like you're not going to put a character in a slot and be like, he'll be fine, he's got 3 dodge. But at least you don't get into a situation where it's like if a character has no dodge and then they're locked in a slot or whatever, you know you're not in that situation where it's like, well, I just know I'm definitely dead because this character has no dodge. So always been a fan of the 3 dodge. But yeah, Rosé feels like a sort of, I mean, I guess you can decide which one you want to maximize more, but it's like full dodge or full additional, because obviously getting that third, because he always gets that guaranteed super, getting the third super as well, so he gets the extra greatly raised defense again, is pretty nice. But yeah, he doesn't need any crit in the hidden potential.
I don't want to be put in a situation where he
changing
dodges
mine now.
normal and then it just takes a super.
Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah, because you need to get hit for him to get the damage reduction, don't you?
Yeah, you actually need to get hit.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. But yeah, physical VB as well does exist. You know, we kind of touched on him a little bit. Very huge damage dealing character, honestly. I do like him, and his design's very fun. I think that, you know, 50% dodge against supers, sometimes 80%. It's a really great addition because otherwise he would be very, very much in danger against a lot of these super attacks in the game. But now he actually has an answer to them. So I'm quite a huge fan of him. But Bill, what's your thoughts on this physical VB?
Big fan. I really like the way that they sort of took the error that they had in a character like AGL Super Vegito and sort of corrected it with the ability to work around a super if you're put in that spot. That isn't just relying on like a full dodge hidden potential build. The 2-turn support for super class, very nice. Obviously the inverse for Rosé. Just really kind of holds it down and does what you need to do. You were talking earlier about how he's able to no item the new fight, which is obviously very nice, especially on a setup that you were using where clearly, I mean, it's a nice team, but it doesn't have like really any of the best characters in the game on it. There's no tech Vegetos, there's no Rosé and the new Vegito, if you will. So kind of fills in a hole that a lot of people could definitely use help with, and being able to pick him up for free is also a bonus. So yeah, I really don't have any complaints about him. I think that maybe the super dodge chance could have been higher, or if that dodge chance was just not HP restricted, I think I would have liked that a little bit better, but really don't have too much bad to say about the character. It's what it needs to be for an old character like that. I don't know if we're ever going to reach the level where he was on Easy A, where it feels like he's competing with like the LRs in the game, but he does feel a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He's really, really much better. And again, they've been doing these Super Z's really nicely, but I do like that he's able to, it could just fit really well in this new event, depending on the build too, which was nice because I think, you know, at first I was like, it sucks he's not that great, but once I got some of the different team builds and testing, he can actually be pretty effective still. Even if you're just attacking Zamasu, you could very easily wipe Zamasu out in terms of damage. So big fan. But Toon, your thoughts on physical VB?
Another beneficiary of the slot 2 positioning, you got the Goku Blue Rosé slot 1. They give him attack or they give him defense. He becomes a tankier counter or he becomes a nastier counter. Either way, he benefits greatly. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it is, man. Positions. Just like they're not just shoving all of these slot 2 characters into one celebration. They're giving us variety. There's characters that benefit from it. There's characters that can initiate the rotations. So this has been good so far.
I hate. Look, I'm sorry. The wording you used
What I just
And
said.
the episode title made me laugh.
Oh my
It's,
god.
it's all about position.
Positioning,
This guy.
baby.
This guy.
Yeah. Ningen, what are your thoughts, man?
The one thing I will say about Vegeta Blue, like, I don't know if it was just one of those things where obviously, you know, you don't want to make a snap judgment. You want to use units in different setups and stuff like that. But like when I first used him, I used the Rosé first, and I feel like I wasn't that impressed with him when I first used him. And I had a bunch of people in the comments being like, "No, what do you mean? He's crazy." Because like, I guess like, you know, it's one of those things that he is not quite as bad as some of the other characters that have had that sort of meme attached to them, but he does kind of sort of have the potential man like attachment where like I've had quite a few turns of him where he does like one super and then two normals, and obviously the counters are good, but depending on the setup for the rotation, it might not be optimal to put him in certain slots where the most attacks are. And of course, unfortunately, I do like the fact that they've given him something to help potentially deal with supers, but I have also had multiple runs now where he just doesn't dodge a super and then dies, which is really annoying. So because I like the fact that he gives that bit of support as well. You can kind of fit him into any of the teams that he's on, and if there's no specific positioning you want to put him, or like you don't want him on slot 2, or like you can use him as a slot 3 floating unit. But then yeah, there's been a couple of times now where he's been like tagged with a super in slot 3 and not dodged and like lost me the run, which is a little bit frustrating. But then at the same time, I've seen the flip side of that. And I feel like this has kind of always been the case, I guess, with physical Vegeta Blue and also like tech Vegeta Blue, where it's like they can have those turns. Like I've seen the turns where he then does like quad supers and then does multiple counters. And obviously because he builds up with each attack that he does in the turn, then on that turn, like he looks absolutely crazy. So I guess a lot of it just kind of comes down to RNG and like whether you get lucky like with his performance in the turn or not. Like he's still a solid unit overall, but I've definitely had a few runs where I've used him and he just either hasn't really been that impressive or like has been the unit that's gotten killed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's definitely been turns where he doesn't dodge a super, and then I'm like, oh, thanks. But realistically, you know, this guy's still providing a lot to the team with the Rainbow Orb changing, the multi-turn support. Like, you know, there's just a lot that he's doing. And ideally, if there's not really like any big locking issues, like the phases that lock, he can at least have the safeguard of dodging against it, right? But most of the time, I think the idea is that this guy will be in slot 3 anyway, so that's fine. But yeah, no, I think we all have very high ratings on the Super Z's too. So we're gonna talk about one last thing here before we kind of get into the trash take segment. But there's the idea of part 2. It was leaked. You know what part 2 is? It was leaked.
They did it again.
It was what?
Who wants to announce it? Or is it going to be me? Anyways, Omega Shenron's burst mode art was leaked. Essentially, people were able to go into the game in the Japanese version, and then they were able to go into the burst mode shop. You know, maybe people were trying to do the Yamcha burst mode before it went away, or kind of buy some stuff. And they found Omega's Dokkan event had a new image with a new LR art for Omega Shenron. So part 2 is pretty much gonna be like Omega Shenron and GT, more than likely, right? You know, I would say like a good 95% chance. So thoughts, guys?
It is pretty
Confirmed
crazy.
exclamation point.
Okay, well, the one thing I will say, which somebody did raise as I guess kind of a good point, is like remember that we've seen stuff before, like the Kefla random art, and then like the Int Goku and Piccolo having that update in the data, like in the files. So then
That's
people are like,
different,
"Oh,
though.
this is going to
That's
happen
different.
soon."
Again,
Whereas, like, we know it's
That's
gonna happen at some point. But whilst don't get me wrong, as well, to be clear, I'm not saying that I don't think it is part 2, but I do think, as we always say, where we shouldn't say something like 100% for Dokkan, there is a possibility that it isn't for part 2, and it just is something that is going to be coming out
I guess so.
at some point.
So
soon.
it could be Daima?
But
I mean,
yeah, I
okay.
think most of us are probably on board with the idea that yes, it is a leak for part 2, but
Because like, when are they gonna release a Dokkan Fest LR Omega?
That's what I was
again?
gonna say.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
It'd be
I
weird
feel
for
like
it to
this
be
is a really good
Tanabata
time.
again, like considering he was the
And as the
Carnival
Dokkan Fest
previously.
LR in part 1.
Yeah, they don't trust him that much.
No, exactly.
I'm
not to be
thinking-
not to be a headliner.
Also, the Kefla art thing is always funny because to me, it just looked like an alternate art to Esther Kefla that they used by accident. And obviously nothing came from it. Like Omega Shenron with that. It's kind of like
it's the fact that it has the LR, it like clearly has the LR shading as well. It's like a very
as
clear,
well.
like,
Like it's clearly an
yeah.
LR. And the thing is, it was put into the burst mode. So I don't know. It just feels like it makes sense to me right now, but it's like 95%. Who knows for sure? But pretty much, I think
Yeah.
GT is going to be part
I
two,
just think that idea
especially
is
with
funny.
the EZAs lined up.
I think that idea is just so funny to me that, like, you know, with the 10th anniversary, they leaked Gogeta in the data download by accident. And then this one is not even something that was apparent in the data download. It's just like, I find that idea really funny that, like you said, somebody would have, like, maybe they just got the, like, we're going to do the Yamcha burst mode quickly, or like, I can't remember if it happened, if the rewards were out by then or something either. But yeah, somebody, like, just this idea that one random player on JP was like, oh, I'm just going to go into the burst mode shop quickly just to like change the OST for my profile picture, and then through that it's like, oh, what is this weird Omega Shenron art that shouldn't be here? Like, of all the ways for stuff to get leaked, I do think that is very funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't an
It's
illicit
super
method
hilarious.
this time, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate that
Yeah.
I'm sad about this because I love GT, like the idea of having more Super Saiyan 4 stuff, you know? But it's just,
Yeah.
I put all my eggs in the Daima basket, and I
Well-
just feel like I'm done.
I mean, it is technically, it could have been Super Saiyan 4 stuff, but like it's the other Super Saiyan 4 stuff. You know what I mean?
These things happen, and it's
What if they do the enemy of GT and the hero of Daima?
Yeah,
That's
nice quote,
cope.
buddy. I think what's gonna
Breaking
happen-
through canon timelines or non-canon
My
timelines.
personal opinion, again, okay, so like if we're gonna talk about Even Beyond Part 2, there is a 2-week time span from the after the celebration ends and then the next
Oh, yeah,
character
that's
drop in
EX.
September. I think EX part, TUR Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku.
Ugh. Once again, they'll make Daima the dumpster of the celebration at the end.
And then Tanabata
Yeah.
LR Adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That's my ideal. But Tanabata could also be Namek, and then we have to wait till 11th anniversary for Adult.
I'm gonna leave if we have
Yeah.
to wait.
It's just, it feels, honestly though, like it's weird because we talked about it before with the build up to the GDC and saying that, like, oh, you know, it's got to be time now that they do Daima. It's one of those things where it's like, on the one hand, it seems weird for them to have not done it already, and then on the other hand, it's like, well, if they haven't done it by now, it's like, is it because they're saving it for the actual like big anniversary, which obviously I'm sure most of us would, like, I would assume, would agree is probably not the best idea. Like we said earlier, Toon said, you know, we want these new characters in the game, but it feels like if they're not dropping them for a big celebration like this, maybe they are just waiting for the anniversary, which I think is potentially a mistake. I think Daima having not as many of the big like ticket characters potentially, like Daima was, we talked about the options there could be, but like a full Daima celebration is a stretch for like 4 or 6 new units of like a top tier level, whereas obviously Tanabata like would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I do
You
think
could
it would
just
be funny.
make-
Imagine the EX part, right? We got Super Saiyan 3 mini Daima Vegeta as the EX part for the anniversary.
Wait,
And then for this, we just get adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta TUR as the
You don't-
EX part.
I would love that. First of all, I would love that. But you don't think that we could do 6 LRs for Daima?
Yeah,
I mean, you can.
definitely
It's
could.
just
not
Easily
six
do
that
6.
people would care about.
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
more
but-
important thing. Yeah, like
But that's the thing. The
You think
longer
people
you
care-
wait, the less people would care because
You
this
see-
is
Go on.
that you should have done that. You should have struck while the iron was hot if
Yeah.
you wanted to do that.
yeah. I mean, I'm still
know-
on board with as many people were anticipating that like Daima should have been Golden Week, but you know,
At this
here we
point, yeah, I
are.
should have. Another thing is, I also would say that, I mean, with 6 LRs, you could definitely make 6 LRs, but like, it's not like people cared about all 6 LRs during the 10th anniversary either. Like,
Right.
Blue
I
Evolution
mean, that's
and
just
Goku Frieza,
that's just how
people
it's
were
always
hating
going
on
to
it.
be. People have
Yeah.
to be able to cope with the fact that they can't get them all, so they will prioritize certain characters in their head, whether they're
Yeah.
good or not. you're not going to want to try to seek after all of them because you just simply can't afford all of them.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think it's more so also when you say about the 10th anniversary characters, I don't think it's more. I think some of that comes down to like the kit and stuff, right? I don't think there are many people that out of the 6 choices that people are like, oh, this is a lame character to be an anniversary character.
People hated Goku Frieza, bro.
Whereas obviously with
Just
Daima,
for the, not even the kit, just like the decision.
yeah,
Remember the clapping? Sorry,
Yeah.
Toon, but remember the clapping?
Come on.
Who wants to see Goku Frieza's animation? And then
I did.
Ah.
I'm sorry, your reaction to that was so funny.
Yes. Here we go. I want to see this.
And you're like,
was
wow.
awesome. That was the thing is like I was saying on that day, it's like, bro, that was such a setup. They're like, yeah, here's like the most iconic moment in Dragon Ball not named Namek Goku, and then Super Gogeta.
And
Like,
then,
which one do y'all want to see?
yeah, but no, besides
That's not
that,
fair.
I think
Not fair.
again, they're like they could do Super Saiyan 3 Mini Goku, they could do Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Adult Goku, like 3 out of the way instantly, Adult Vegeta, Goma. They could do Kundu, they could do Tamagamis, they could do the fight against Goma, where it's like Goku, Ku, Vegeta, Piccolo, like everyone against the fight against Goma. Like there's a lot of things they can get from the show still because they haven't done anything. And people are like, they can't do things alone. They can.
yeah,
They very easily could. But either way, I hope that they really do start spamming Daima at the end of the year. It's like, again, they EX part, mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku. The month after, Dokkan Fest like Kuindu. Then part 2 LR, Tamagami like LR. Tanabata, Adult Super Saiyan 4, Goma. And then we get Super Saiyan 3, Adult Vegeta as like the next Dokkan Fest. Like they gotta start doing Daima over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, you really can't wait like 3 years on Daima. I definitely would agree with that. Because Superhero, they tried it, and it was like the first introduction of Superhero was so negatively received in terms of Ultimate Gohan that
Well,
Beast
that's just 'cause
Gohan
they're
was like,
stupid. Yeah.
yeah, but it also just felt like like Beast Gohan just felt like an apology to me. It was like,
Well,
like
yeah,
that's how good he was.
it was the right move. It was just stupid execution. Like it was the
Right.
right move. They did that right. I think Superhero, the way that they built up to that was great because they laid the framework with those gammas. They had an ongoing like parallel celebration, kind of reminding us they were doing a similar thing with Daima. Just it was way slower and it just didn't amount to anything.
Mhm.
Sorry, I watched the clip.
yeah. It's like the fact that all those clues that we thought were there as well. It's like the Daima story event building up until like basically the timing was perfect for them to have gotten to like the end of the story as we got to the Global Dokkan campaign. It's like so much stuff seemed to line up, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like we said, with Omega being the Dokkan Fest seemingly almost confirmed, like that's the other thing is who do you guys think the Carnival unit will be? Because I think it's very, very unlikely that it will be Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
It's not.
Yeah,
big
exactly.
jump.
So the big
It's,
question is who's it going to be? I know Minato, you have your theories on this one. I think obviously with the setup that we got for part 1, we could get the tag Super Saiyan 4s, but I don't know if they would
I could
do that to mirror part 1, whereas obviously Omega won't be a reversible exchange. So I think it's interesting. There's quite a few different options that could potentially
I have
be.
a cool idea. It's not mine though. It's not. Full credit goes to this person on my stream who told me. There's a chatter. I forgot his name. There's a really cool thing that they could do, and I hope that they would, but I know they won't. You get a straight up Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta who loses the fusion after 4 turns, and then after 4 turns, that animation of them splitting up is effectively the entrance animation or whatever, and now you've got a reversible exchange Goku and Vegeta.
That'd be really cool. I've seen the theories
Yeah.
of, well, I guess even my own theory is Omega has a domain, and then Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has a domain where it's Gogeta kicking when he kicked the negative energy ball and then like purified the earth.
Yeah.
That could be like a potential domain of an Omega when he like post Gogeta fusion when he turned the earth with the like dark with the negative energy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think especially the idea of Omega with the domain, it's literally like in his card art, the negative energy. I'm pretty sure whether it's a transforming sin or not, that he'll have a domain, another villain domain, awesome. But I think another
Let's
super
go.
class domain could be really cool. Imagine like a super class domain that's like turn 1 to 4 with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and then after he would defuse, of course, right? That could be really interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
especially because like this new fight is like short content, like could be interesting. Like maybe he lowers extreme class attacks, right? Another idea that I thought was really funny that I brought up in my video talking about this kind of idea yesterday is we don't have full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku from the Dragon Fist attack that he does against Omega. That's not in the game of good animations. We have the tech full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku from 2018 that came out for Tanabata. We have not gotten a single new full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku from the Shadow Dragon Saga since then. We got the animation against Ice Shenron, the Dragon Fist, in these Year 7 Super Saiyan 4s, but the Omega Shenron one has not been done. So I could see potentially like
Yeah.
Goku having that Dragon Fist animation if it's like a tag Goku and Vegeta card.
Yeah.
Or I mean, imagine if it's just standalone full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I wonder how people would react to that.
Negatively.
I think
'Cause they
it would
don't
be a
use-
negative reaction.
I think it
'cause
would
it's
Until
not
they see
Gogeta
the
or a tag.
animations, they'd be
Yeah.
like, he has so much swag.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
make a tweet about that. Yeah, it's
Right.
gonna be
I think
funny.
that would be cool. Like, I think it's not what people expect, and so, as we said before, like people do pretty much all the time anyway. But like people would complain. But if it was a standalone Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku, I think that would be kind of cool. It fits with it being like Omega and not a exchange unit. Although I do think
if they
I
do
do think
that-
it should be Sin that transforms into Omega. I
Yeah,
feel like we've waited
exactly.
more than long enough for that, right? So I think that would be very cool. My thought was if they were going to copy, because obviously I know not all 4 of the characters will end up being reversible exchange because Omega won't be. But my thought when we saw him leaked, and obviously we all talked about it, made our own videos and stuff, I'm sure. But my thought was, obviously, considering we got the both of them in part 1, was that we'd get reversible exchange Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, and then obviously to mirror exactly along with the formats of the part 1 units, Vegeta would have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as an active skill attack, and then Goku would have that Dragon Fist like versus Omega as his animation, because obviously like Vegeta's the one that suggests that they fuse, so it kind of fits nicely because Goku's the one that has the Vegeta Blue fusion attack in part 1, so I thought that would kind of sort of follow along as a parallel, right? So Vegeta has the fusion attack in part 2, and then Goku has the Dragon Fist. I just think it'd be funny again to get another, to them to do it again for part 2, is the reversible exchange Super Saiyan 4s, where Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is just an active skill attack again, just to see the reaction from some people. I think it'd be funny.
I mean,
but,
I feel like that's the most realistic option
yeah,
because it's just like the same mechanics as the other characters. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. And they've seen, because we've seen like, because them doing both the characters with Rosé and Goku Black being a carnival LR. And the fact that we've seen, I mean, we saw it with Kale and Caulifla, but obviously the quality level is even higher with Rosé and Zamasu. It's not like they won't do a reversible exchange combo that is really good with really good animations as a Carnival LR. So we definitely could see that, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different options. I think a lot of people are really sticking to Gogeta, but I think it's always good to keep your mind open for different potential options so that you're not instantly disappointed in case the card doesn't even have Gogeta in there, which would be really funny. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think
Yes.
a standalone Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I think it's probably, in my opinion, the least likely option because the int one's going to easy A, more than likely, right? And we'll see what they do with that. They also really like, they seem to love cards that fuse because
hmm
when's the last Super Gogeta we got? When's
We
the
still don't have a
last-
standalone Gogeta Blue. Like it doesn't exist in the
We
game.
don't have a standalone Vegeta Blue since 2018.
Mhm.
Like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has never had a standalone LR, right? That's the only reason why I'm thinking maybe we can get a standalone Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 because he doesn't even have an LR, but a lot of these characters don't. So
And they just don't care.
I feel like
Still no
they-
full power Broly.
I feel like maybe like in terms of like the optics or data from there, and it's like actual fusion animations for the Gogeta and Vegeta cards will just do way better for them. Because I mean we've gotten standalone Super Saiyan 3 Go tanks, right? But we still
Yeah.
don't even have like a standalone LR Kefla. So it's really weird. And especially with like Dragon Ball kind of being weird, it's also probably in their best interest to save some of these standalone fusions in case of
Yeah.
emergencies. But Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think, part 2 we'll have the LRs revealed in like what, 7, 8, 9 days or so. Because part 2 starts in the 17th, if I'm not mistaken, like around there.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna start on
And
around the 24th.
no, that's when the
Oh,
banners drop. Part 2 will start before then. Part 2 usually
The
starts a week before
the
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 banners.
banner for the part 1 campaign on the home screen goes away on the 23rd.
Well, yeah, but the part 1 banner will still be live until the part 2 banners go live. Like part 2 could start before the part 2 banners drop.
No. The home screen banner, like the scrolling
a news
graphics at the
announcement on the
bottom.
Yes.
bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. That part 1 is timestamped to go away on the 24th. So they wouldn't have that running if part 2 is underway.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the actual like part 1 news, not the part 1 banners banner.
Like the part 1 graphic where it shows Zamasu and Goku and it says Global Dokkan Celebration
Yeah,
part
that's
1,
what you meant.
that is
I
going to be
thought you
scrolling
meant
on the home screen.
I know what you meant. I thought you meant like because there's a banner there as well for the actual summons. So yeah, okay, I get what you mean. Okay, so
Yeah.
they might just drop part 2 with the banners at the same time then, which is fine too. But we should see still the LRs in like a week plus. Like, I'm assuming maybe the 20th, 21st, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I think at this point it's time to go ahead and get into our next segment, which is the trash take segment.
Stick.
Is he going to do it?
Right. So
Is he gonna
the
do it?
trash take we have here is wait, what are we into?
Oh, which one did he pull up?
Ningen's muted, apparently.
Yeah, it's up.
Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna read it out. Anyways,
Yes.
so the trash stick we have is from Solok right there. I believe I said it right. Locks and AoE supers are boss mechanics that fundamentally break the game and shouldn't be in there at all, ever. Lock severely reduces the amount of rotation setups you can make in a turn by 2. Third, and are way too volatile RNG that could arbitrarily end a run. So that is the one that I believe Toonrami, you picked that one, did you not? So what are your thoughts on it?
I think that they're both good for the game because they're different situations and it'll keep the content fresh in the grand scheme of things. What I maybe would say is there's something that I want them ever since this Million Arena became a thing. What I really want them to do is to create a feature at some point where you can somewhat influence what your rotations will consist of by maybe bookmarking one character on your team to maybe show up on any given rotation. Yeah, you might still have a lock take place, but at least you'll have some semblance of control over maybe who's going to be involved in that locked rotation. So I think if you combine that with something else that could be potentially good for team building, that would make that far less of an issue. Also, if you have locking take place maybe early on in the game and not later on, then that could also be a little bit more bearable because then players won't have to necessarily go through the entire event and only to lose because of a stupid lock on the final round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that honestly, I'm fine with it because again, it makes the. I feel like if okay, these characters are really strong. Our characters are really really strong, and it could make some interesting designs where, again, you're not because if you could either even just choose your rotations or like your rotations aren't deemed by locking or any way like that, then it's like okay, it does suck for certain characters that like have to be in slot 3, have to be in slot 1. But in my opinion, it just makes the game more interesting and more risky and more exciting compared to just playing it normally, honestly, without any locking or anything like that. So I do actually enjoy it. It just depends on how they do it sometimes. Um, Especially like in this new fight where okay, Zamasu's locking, but you see Zamasu only attacks like 3 times a turn, anyways. And then Goku Black could be attack lord. Like there's ways around them, and especially since units kits are so vast now, a lot of characters will have options against it, anyways. And then we could also get more characters in the future, like AGO Super Gogeta, that is immune to like these debuff statuses. So it'll be really interesting to see how they continue to handle this in the future. But I think the mechanic itself is not fundamentally breaking the game. It's just more so of a thing that, like, it can give certain units as advantages, but that's where you're not going to have every unit good in every situation, anyways, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if you would say this, you have to apply the same idea to AoE normals or dodge canceling, right? And it's like these things, these mechanics are so strong, so
Yeah,
that's all I have to say.
I think most people probably won't be surprised with my take on this because I am very vocal and have been for a long time and always will be, that I hate rotation locking. I think it's the worst enemy ability, like mechanic in the game, because like everything else you can sort of like build around. Like obviously, when events are, if the toughest part of the event disables dodge, then it's one of those things where you kind of know going into it that unless you're gonna use like tech UI, I guess, and of course now like it's supposed the STR Goku, but like there are certain units that you just can't use in those events, and that's fine. Like you just know that you can't use them, so you don't bring them. You can also kind of say the same thing against with AoE normals or supers, I guess, where it's like certain characters you just can't really use them, but at least you have this like plethora of other characters. But rotation locking is more annoying because it's like when you go into the event, it's like you have characters in theory that you absolutely can use them in that event unless like they then end up getting locked in slot 1. And so it's like it's kind of difficult to build a team of like all units that can go in all slots regardless of the turn. Which I mean, I guess it is possible in some circumstances, but I think the thing that I don't like about it the most is, like it says here, like can arbitrarily end a run. It's like there's stuff that Dokkan is always RNG, right? If you fight a boss that has an AoE super and he AoEs in slot 1, like there's not a huge amount you can really do about that. Like you either have a rotation that is able to survive that turn because you either have characters that can tank or can dodge or whatever, but you may be in some situations where if the AoE super is in slot 1 you lose, whereas if it was in slot 2 or 3 you might have been fine, and that is one of those things that you just kind of have to roll the dice. But there's still the chance potentially, especially if dodging isn't disabled, whereas like with rotation locking, and I know this kind of does come back to the argument about using items or not, and whether, I know some people don't care, but some people, if you're trying to do a no item run for a challenge, even if it's not something you care about doing all the time and you're like crazy about it, like some people are, but like you just are trying to do it for a challenge, like you can get into a situation where it's like, oh, okay, well, this unit is now locked in this particular slot, whether it is a slot 1 lock for a character that's not in slot 1, or like your slot 3 floating support unit gets locked in slot 2 and that's where the super attack is. And it's like, okay, well, I now can't do anything. I can't have any influence on this turn. It doesn't matter what I do or how I play this turn. Like, I've now just lost because of the rotation locking. And I think that's the thing about it that I hate the most, is it kind of takes it out of your hands completely to a certain point where it's like you can just get to a turn where the game has decided that you just lose now because of the rotation locking, which I hate. But all that being said, coming back to the actual take itself, I don't know if I would necessarily say that it like fundamentally breaks the game and shouldn't be there at all ever. It's like, I don't know, I hate it, but things like the AoE supers I think is fine sometimes, obviously not in every fight or anything. But yeah, man, I just hate rotation locking so much because the whole game is about rotations, and without you being able to set your starting rotation, a lot of the time you have to take a couple of turns to get things set up the way you want them to be, and then the game just like messes up that format. And with things that we've seen over the years with characters, with like links being so important, and even things like the new units, right? Like Goku and Zamasu, whilst it's not super difficult to do, they want to have certain units on rotation with them. And then rotation locking can mess up your setups. And it's like something that's kind of outside of your control, which I think is probably the thing that I find the most annoying about it. So Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm not sure the take itself, whether I fully agree with all of it, with like the AoE supers and that kind of thing, but I just really hate rotation locking.
I think if anything, if you're going to introduce rotation locking, you should introduce a regular counter to that, where characters just open with the ability to negate it or count or disable it, or just a turn one active skill that can turn that off. Some characters have that, not too
Yeah.
many, but those typically take, I think, 5-6 turns or something to like actually be able to use it. I mean, and then of course, like you could always just make the argument, bring a sensu bean. Yeah, you sacrifice other items in doing that, but that would be your counter with a cost.
I don't hate that.
I mean, I know how annoying rotation locking. I'm just saying that there's only so much that we can do to make this game interesting in different ways, and
Yeah.
with rotations being the core function of your combat, sort of, you know, locking that to an extent or restricting that is a viable like hurdle that you have to be able to overcome. And yeah, it's
And
annoying. I do get that, but like it just, I feel like that's not something that they are just going to remove.
there's
Or they
also
could
very
remove.
much ways to build your teams around it too. It just, obviously a lot of characters are very strong after attacking, right? Not all characters can really sit in slot one, but these character designs again are so unique now that there's many characters that, maybe let's say a character like Ajo Blue Cow can Goku, right? The Super Easy A, he's locked to slot three. Oh, I'm just not gonna go ahead and be able to bring him in there. But there's other characters who have ways to combat around these kind of things. Like let's say physical Super Easy VB, like even in a locking situation, he's ideally like after attacking, but he has the ability to dodge some of these super attacks, right? And I again think it's a thing of if you're able to like even not even setting your rotations, but in some of these fights, like like if you remove locking from like the inch Jiren phase of that fight, it becomes kind of a joke. You remove locking from like the topo phase of the fight. You remove locking from this fight, it becomes significantly easier, right? And I understand it's annoying, but it makes you put thought into who you're actually bringing into your team, or make some interesting runs where it's like, okay, I would have usually brought another character that would be able to help out my rotations by supporting, but now I'm gonna just bring a different character like AJOUI Goku, right? That's where it's like instead of like, I don't know, I'm like what other character you could just throw in slot three? I'm trying to think at the top of my head, but you guys get the point. There are units good in different situations, even typing. It can come down to typing itself. Or like a unit like Inyamcha, maybe even. Uh, I feel like locking can add an extra variety kind of to what characters are good in different bosses. I just think that locking shouldn't be a part of every single boss. That's why I would like a new event that doesn't have locking. That's a longer fight. That would be what I would say. Just have more events that don't have it. But because the issue I think a lot of people have locking this year is that a Joe Jiren has locking, or at least that the both of the Jiren fights have locking. Then this fight that came out right now has locking. There's been a lot of locking bosses, so they just don't spam that same thing. Bring back enemy territory skills for the next fight.
Right.
Like I'm sure that there's other ways that they could make some of these fights interesting in that way. But that's my opinion. That's why I think, as long as it's used to make the bosses different from each other, it's an issue when the bosses are all the same.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you guys covered a lot of like the good stuff there. It's when the game just it's not very fresh when every fight is just the same. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We should have a
I
super
agree.
sensu bean that not only clears negative effects but gives you immunity for an extra turn.
At this point, like how do I can't talk all of a sudden, but like a Daima item, right?
Yeah.
Like something from Daima that gives you like some super effect. We
Yeah,
have the
revive
one
bug.
Daima support item. I know a lot of folks were farming 1,000 of them because a certain content creator did it, but it's just funny how like we might as well just get more, right? Like if you're not going to give us the LRs, give us some support items, give us this, give us that, give us a support memory.
I mean, or like imagine a domain like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's domain. It removes allies negative effects for like one turn. TPI Minosha's
Yeah.
active skill did that too. Like they could also
Mhm.
introduce more characters that do that. I think that would also be helpful.
Yeah, I think that would be
It's-
good. Like if locking
But
is
I
still going to
think-
be a thing, just like more ways to combat it, right? Like I know a lot of people have used because he's quite helpful for some of the teams that he's on. But like the first clear that I did for the Zamasu and Rosé event, I was using the AGL Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and obviously he has the thing where when you transform into the giant ape on the giant ape turn, you can move the units around and kind of get around the lock for that turn, which is obviously really helpful, even though it's only a one-time thing.
Yeah. There's also been like worse things. I saw Rocket activate the new link or lose. Remember they used to do that for like the Broly Dokkan event. Blazing
It still
Battle,
half
right?
exists on legendary Extreme Z battles. It's not to the same degree,
I guess
but
so. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
got
kind of
it, like
exists.
you need legendary power, but yeah, or charge counts
You
as
just,
well.
you
Imagine
just
this fight
started a
had
new
charge
account.
counts.
That could be a problem. You might only have 2 LRs.
Yeah, honestly, I think that again, I can understand people being upset with locking. I just don't want them to make every fight samey or spam it or make it like locking and dodge disable and AoE. Like there has to be differences. There has to be checks and balances. I think that makes these bosses interesting.
I just thought of a really cool idea.
Shoot.
What if you can sacrifice a percentage of your Dokkan gauge to activate several different effects? If you sacrifice like 50% of it, you get key +1. If you sacrifice 90% of it, you can clear a negative effect on a character or something like that.
It would be nice if Amatsu was innovative.
I know, right?
Oh,
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
domains.
Don't worry, we'll be
enemy
innovative. Please stay till the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Reverse exchange. Dokkan 2. Come on.
So, what's the poll looking like, Ningen?
Right, let's go ahead and end the poll here. It's about 2/3. We got the W take is 68 as well. YouTube doesn't like to add up to 100, so W take 67, L take 32. So, but it's basically the 2/3 versus 1/3 sort of margin. So 2/3 of people in the chat agree that say W take. I mean, I think largely just comes from the same sort of frustration that we've all expressed, right? Like, even though we do want events to not all be the same, and like some enemy abilities are more annoying than others, it does feel like rotation locking is like the most egregious out of all of them, right? Because, as I said, there's just so many times, especially if you are trying to do like certain challenges or use teams that aren't the most optimal, and then it's like a specific lock on a certain turn, it just means instant game over, right? Which is always going to feel very disappointing. So
yeah, and again, I do get that too. So, it just kind of depends on how you feel about like these mechanics and like what you enjoy from the game personally.
yeah.
To me, I love like team building and building teams to beat different events, and even like locking as like, okay, I just have to go in with characters that won't get instantly demolished. Like obviously, the thing is that it's not always going to be a thing where it's like, okay, I just hate the idea of being able to build a team and you're like, I am 100% good here. Like I like it where it's like, okay, I have to build this team a certain way. I can't use certain units, and I'm not even guaranteed to win. That feeling is back. Like I hate the feeling of going in knowing I am going to win. It's boring.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think some of the most fun runs come from those moments where you manage to pull a victory out when, you know, you were super close to defeat. But I would say the counter to that is the thing about rotation locking is that sometimes rotation locking is the opposite end of that spectrum, where it's like you just don't have any control over the situation and now you are just guaranteed to lose, which doesn't feel as like, you know.
I do get that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not a perfect mechanic for sure. But
yeah.
I think in many times it's not as bad as people will make it out to be. That's just me though. But I also really like this new event. A lot of people kind of don't like it, so who knows. But yeah, I mean, there we go. Again, W take, most people do agree, so there's that. But that is the trash take segment there, and I don't believe we had any others.
I think that's it, yeah.
All right, well,
Over
there we
quite
go,
a
guys.
bit more than I expected as well. Good old beefy
Yeah.
GDC episode.
Yep, we do love the Global Dokkan Celebration. It's been very fun this month. Hopefully, part 2 will be a banger as well. I'm sure it will be. And yeah, again, very awesome. So from here, Ningen will go ahead and read off all the donations and super chats that we got during the actual stream, and we do appreciate y'all for the support.
Yep. Shout out to all you guys coming out. Shout out to everyone in the chat. But yeah, shout out to all the people who have helped to support, keep the podcast going. We have a $5 super chat from Dre. So I predict part 2 will have Transforming Sin with the Dragon Ball mechanic. That's interesting because yeah, we haven't seen that used a huge amount. And it's kind of,
BKP, I think, was the last character with it.
yeah, it's literally just him and Gohan, isn't it? Since it was released, right?
Yeah.
So definitely could be interesting. Pretty fitting for like a Sin or Omega, like Shadow Dragon unit. So I think that would be pretty cool. We have Prof re-upping his channel membership, ready for part 2 base Goku plus Vegeta with an active skill only Super Saiyan 4 transformation. Going to the absolute worst case scenario.
Wait, you said what? Base who?
Yeah, base Goku and Vegeta, and then it's an active skill attack where they go Super Saiyan 4. So they're not even, the cards themselves are not even Super Saiyan 4. So like the fusion, it's just for an active skill attack that they go
Stop
Super
it.
Saiyan
They
4
would never do
and then
that.
our base. Yeah,
I
so-
like when people watch YouTube videos on Dokkan. Don't do that.
yeah, exactly. I don't think. Hopefully, they won't fumble that hard. That would be horrendous. Thorn with the $2 super chat says physical Rosé went from terrible to situational. So that's
Huge.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, because
Big upgrade.
I agree. Like, I made a post, like, someone had posted a screenshot of Rosé, like, with his domain up and, like, the STR Rosé support. And, like, by the time he'd done his last few attacks on one of those good RNG turns where he gets a bunch of supers, there's screenshots of him hitting, like, 50 million plus and stuff like that. And, like, he can be really, really good again. But the thing is, even on a turn where he does get a lot of supers, like, he can still get absolutely destroyed by super attacks. So I would
I'm
kind
just
of
glad he's slightly above average.
yeah, I would kind of agree with this. Like, he can be really good in some setups now, but he is still very situational. Like, there definitely are turns where he will just get you killed. But the domain obviously is very helpful for the rest of the team as well. So, you know, he's become a runnable option for that team. But there are definitely turns, like, especially for the big supers, because his defense, if he gets a bunch of supers off, his raw defense does get pretty high, so he can tank normals relatively well. But yeah, he will die to super attacks in the hardest events. But it's cool to see that he can actually be used somewhat. I think the other big thing as well is with the new AGL Rosé Super Easy A and then the temporary buff Int Rosé, you don't want to end up with like too many characters on the team that all have the same name. Otherwise it becomes a little bit awkward. But yeah, physical Rosé at least can be used again, which is nice. Chili with the $2 super chat said, I was told that Toon was being shouted at, so hi. But yeah, it's always a pleasure having Toon on the show. Drace with the $2 super chat with the very divisive topic as always. Bring back Chain Battle, justice for the GOAT. Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Chain Battle. I'm happy that it's gone, but I'm not happy that the rewards are gone. That's the thing I miss the most.
Chain Battle was better than
We
Million Arena.
lost Chain Battle for Million Arena.
I mean, Chain Battle.
Just let
That
that
is-
sink in.
Yeah, Chain Battle
That was
was better
years
than Million
ago.
Arena. We can't argue about
It wa-
that. That is very true. But
It wasn't for Million Arena. They just did that. They thought it was so cool. It was just a flop.
yeah,
You don't miss Chain Battle. You miss the rewards. That's it.
No,
That's-
exactly.
I'm tired of hearing this.
Yeah,
I miss how creative and different that event was. Execution wise, they didn't convey how to do it, sure, but there was a community that carried that.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
So yeah, I liked it.
There were some good aspects to it, but yeah, it was mainly I miss the rewards for sure. I don't miss the event.
I'm just talking from general community consensus, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That wasn't an attack at you.
Celtics fan.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the rewards were good. I miss them, especially because, you know, we haven't really had a proper replacement. I feel like I have way less good skill orbs now than when Chain Battle was around. So that is the thing. We also have shout out to Preston Kitty for gifting a couple of memberships to the channel. Appreciate you. We have Chili with another $2 super chat says, I wish the free-to-play LR Vegito Blue would get a super easy A. So yeah, that's something that I think people speculated on before we started seeing any of the info for Easy A's and Super Easy A's. The free-to-play STR LR Vegeta Blue. Do we think there's any possibility he will still get a Super Easy A during this celebration?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still a chance.
Okay. Yeah, definitely could be very good.
I spoke to Amatsu. He said there's a chance.
Amatsu said there's a chance. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Then we got Drace with another $2 super chat. Says, I hope we get both both free to play Shadow Dragons and Gogeta clone. So obviously, I think it's pretty unlikely that we'll get both, but we obviously did mention earlier when we talked about the free to play team with the clones that we want them to do this more. What are your guys' thoughts on them doing it again for part 2? Like, the big thing people have said is either the Shadow Dragons or the Gogeta clones. I know Vilify mentioned the Gogeta clone thing earlier as well. Do you think that is a possibility that we will see for part 2?
I would prefer the Shadow clones, but Omega is going to be a DPLR leader, so even if it's the Gogeta clones, I don't think it might be as big of a deal because Omega will at least lead extreme class, or like ideally 3 leader skills, but he's going to at least lead 2 different leader skills, which could really beef up the characters that are on his team. But again, I would prefer this, like a Shadow Dragons kind of team like this, because of the fact that villains will always need help more than fuse fighters. But yeah.
I would want there to be one super class free to play team though, to kind of coast for the next 6 months.
Saiyan Saga, buddy.
Yeah, that's not that, dude. We've set a new standard here. Not Saiyan Saga. I'm talking better.
You think Superclass needs a free to play team like that? No, it doesn't.
Like the Rosé clones? Yes.
No, it doesn't. Superclass?
Essentially, yeah.
Why wouldn't it?
Why would it?
Because you're free to play and you want to use good guys and not bad guys. You have options. Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, you have already 3 times more options than villains in the first place.
Yeah, but they're not at this caliber. Why would you ever use any other team besides Rosé?
People are going to be summoning for the new Super Saiyans anyways, if they want Superclass. And there's way more options that are good for Superclass when you're summoning.
Having a good free-to-play Superclass and a good free-to-play Extreme Class is better.
Yeah.
I think that we should get more villain options.
But that's just our difference. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think...
Well, Minato, they gave you more villain options. There's 2 alternate arts for the clones.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like I think with everything we said earlier about the free-to-play teams and having these better like free-to-play options, I don't see why there'd be, just because like getting a super class and an extreme class one in the same celebration just gives more options, especially when it comes to missions and stuff, right? Because like we get these missions for big events where it will be like use a super class team of every type and stuff like that. So having these free-to-play options for both sides of that thing is pretty cool.
Again, we talked about it. The Rosé clones aren't necessarily for even newer players. Newer players
hard to get, kind of.
The newer players teams, that is the Saiyan Saga team. And then you get that team, you clear through a lot of the easier content from years ago. Even like from 2022, you could probably clear red zones with some of that Saiyan Saga characters. And
yeah, but these guys lap them. It's a joke.
Well, obviously, but they're not meant. I don't even think they're meant for the brand new players. They're meant for end-time players with super bosses.
Even if it's a progressional thing where you have to get your way there should still be a super class version and an extreme class version.
Yeah, sure. Eventually we can get a super class version, but maybe not now. And I don't think it has to be Fuse Fighters.
Well, I think one thing that is quite interesting, because I know a lot of people immediately jumped to the Shadow Dragons because it's something we've talked about for years. That it would be good to get a full team for them. Often because of how restrictive like the leader skills are for Omegas and stuff like that. But there is one thing that I thought was interesting that somebody pointed out. I think I saw it on Twitter about the idea for the Gogeta clones. Is the fact that the Rosé clones all have that thing in their passive where it says per future Saga ally whose name includes clone. And someone was saying like, well, why are they making this like particular specification when we don't have other characters in the game who have the name clone? And so is it because we're going to get the Gogeta clones in part 2, so then they won't affect each other's passives, and the Gogeta clones will have a thing that says like, you know, per giant 8 power ally on the team whose name includes clone or something like that, right? So then they only trigger off of their own set of clones and not the other ones. I thought it was an interesting point.
Face, Minato.
But I don't think it definitively means anything, right? But I think it was an interesting point. But yeah, either way, Drace's comment, I do not think we'll get both. It would be nice if we do get another like free-to-play team set up for part 2. But I think it's very unlikely that we'd get both. And then lastly, we have Tala re-upping his membership. Give us domains that remove enemy effects for 1 turn, including super attacks, so you could counter a lot of mechanics.
Yeah, we have that's called Giant Form.
Yeah. Be kind of cool as a... I mean, yeah, characters
you.
that have it that can use it like on a whim is obviously very useful.
Also, I do want to point out it's not a playable character, but all the fighters clones have cloned their names, so if they ever become playable, that's why.
Wait,
There you
what?
go. So could be
All the
interesting
fighters
to see.
clones have clones in their names. Like, you know, like the from Dragon Ball Fighters, like the clones. that
Oh,
are like,
yeah.
that's- just- yeah, look
But
at
yeah,
that.
we don't have playable versions of them.
Still
Yeah.
interface.
But yeah, so there you go. That is it for the contributions for this week. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for that, and thank you for the support for the podcast.
We appreciate
you for
y'all
having
all
me.
showing up. And yeah, Toonrami, thank you very much for showing up, man. Anyways, I can't wait for the
Yep.
Shadow Dragon Saga team in part 2. So that super class, there's 6 of the 17 billion options it has. That'd be really awesome.
I rainbow both units in like 100 stones. Don't talk to me.
Congrats, man. I'm so proud of you. Awesome. I'm not even mad at you. I'm like genuinely happy for you. That's
Shut
great.
up! Don't try to wholesome your way to victory. Shut up.
I mean, I'm just being real. Like, what am I gonna say? I hate you. I have the new units.
Yes,
Why would I
I
be mad?
hate you too.
Okay, well, dude. Sorry. I don't know. Anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That was a fun one.